It's time for TWiT, believe it or not, break out the bubbly. Our 6th year, our 6th anniversary. We're entering our 7th year. And I've got the old TWiTs, the original TWiTs, in studio with me to celebrate. Stay tuned. Our 6th anniversary episode is up next.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Audio bandwidth for This Week in Tech is provided by Winamp for Android, the ultimate media player for your desktop and Android device, featuring wireless sync. Download it free at winamp.com/Android. Video bandwidth for TWiT is provided by CacheFly at CacheFly.com. This is TWiT, This Week in Tech, episode 297, recorded April 17th, 2011. 6 years and counting. This Week in Tech is brought to you by Go to Assist Express. If you're an IT or software consultant, up your competitive edge and grow your business with Go to Assist Express. For a free 30-day trial, visit gotoassist.com/TWiT. And by FreshBooks.com, the easy online invoicing service that gets you paid quickly and makes you look more professional. Get started with a free package at FreshBooks.com. And by Squarespace.com, the fast and easy way to publish a high-quality website or blog. For a free 14-day trial, go to squarespace.com/TWiT and be sure to check out their annual plans for savings of up to 20% off. It's time.
Here we go.
For TWiT. Whoa! Oh my God, champagne's all over the place. It is the 6th anniversary episode of This Week in Tech. And you know what's so cool? We got all of the original characters together again. We got the old band back together again. Here, Kevin, a little champagne.
Thank you, sir.
Kevin Rose.
Let me pour you a glass.
Formerly CEO of Dig, host of Dig Nation, part owner of Revision, or I guess full owner of Revision 3. I don't know who owns Revision 3. And there was something else. Oh, that Milk thing. He's in a Belgian trance band.
That's right.
Called
Lead singer.
Milk Inc. Kevin Rose, great to have you back.
Thanks for having me.
In the studio. Thanks for coming up.
I'm stoked to be here. 6 years. That's insane.
6th year. We're going into our 7th year, and it is. I'm just really thrilled.
The 21st Amendment.
I know.
Yeah,
well, now, I'm not counting that one. That was TWiT 0, which you were all at. I don't know if, Robert, were you there at the first one?
I think I was like the second one.
Yeah.
I still have those MP3s we used to have.
I could play it if you want to hear them. We still have them online. If you go to twit.tv/1.
There was no video back then at all, right?
No, we didn't do video. The first video was episode 23, I think.
Probably a $800 DAT player, and you could probably buy something that does that now.
It's crappier than that. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you.
You probably do it with the cell phone and sound just as
You want to hear the first?
All right, this is a slate.
We called it Revenge of the Screensavers. Except I had to bleep it because G4 says please don't.
Number 1.
David Prager is also here in the studio with us. Great to have you.
Great to be back. From
Revision 3. Also here, Robert Heron Fidelity. And you were on the first one, weren't you? Yeah, I think it was Robert, Kevin, Patrick Norton, and he's in absentia. Okay. David wasn't on the first one, but he was on 0. So,
okay, I wasn't on 0. I was on number 1.
And I was pulling you all up on Skype on one instance of Skype.
Then we had the backup with the DAT recorder.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Wow, what a...
Robert Heron.
So 10 more years?
Hi, Robert.
10, is that all I get?
To another decade.
All right, 20.
We enter our seventh year of This Week in Tech. John C. Dvorak, people say, well, where's John? John C. Dvorak did not join the show till episode 5. You're right, Kevin. Our first video episode wasn't until 23. We did that at the Apple Store. And I'm all sweaty in it because it was just me running around wiring the whole thing up, and I just worked up a hell of a sweat. I forgot it was video, I guess.
That was challenging.
And Roger McGuinn was with us.
You were there for that, right?
That one.
I think remember I was one in the
Apple
Apple
Store. Yeah.
Yep. And then we started doing it in a bar for a while. Remember that? That didn't work out so well.
Oh, it was up here.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun, though.
You
brought all those Canon XL2?
That's what you got all around you. I bought those because I wasn't doing video, so I bought these cameras. $14,000 worth of cameras thinking we were going to do video, and then we abandoned it because it was such a bad idea. It was so hard to do it in bars and coffee shops. Came back here, continued to do it for audio. Just started video about 3 years ago. And now we're streaming 40 hours a week. We had 55 million downloads in the last 12 months, 5 million a month now.
That is awesome.
And we're building a 10,000 square foot studio, which we can barely afford. So,
But you need it.
But you can see we're jammed in this room. I can't do any more shows. You know, Tom Merritt does his news show, Tech News Today, every afternoon with this many people, and this was never set up for that. It was set up for me by myself. So, yeah, we're completely redesigning everything, and it's kind of fun. But you've been through this a few times, Kevin. This is
we were in the upstairs bed or bathroom or something.
Yeah,
when we first started,
the world's
right?
the smallest
that
room
was
in this
when we were
country.
sitting on the floor
Yeah,
doing the show.
I remember
we were
that.
sitting on the
It
floor.
was about
You remember
5
that.
years or 5.5 years ago. We did System Episode 4,
Mm-hmm.
which was about
Oh,
how
that's right.
it was how to podcast, and like here's the best
was all
example
Leo
of how to
set
do
up.
it from the as professional as you can get. And at the time back then, I mean, it was nothing even compared to this.
Well, then that's why I wonder what netcasting or podcasting will look like in 5 years from now and in 10 years from now. I mean, I think it's when we were at the NAB show, and Robert, next time you got to come.
I will. I'm sorry I didn't make it this year.
What was clear was that all of this $100,000, $1 million broadcast equipment was just coming down, 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 more and more affordable. More and more people could do exactly what we do, you know, on a small budget. So I think you're going to see a lot of networks like this. I mean, right now it's Revision 3. It's us, Callie Lewis's Livid Lobster. There's a handful. But I think, you know, there's...
Is TriCaster still like the core for a lot of the small video
It
podcasters?
is for us. We couldn't do it without the
I don't see
TriCaster.
too many other solutions out there.
Black
for
Magic showed
Okay.
a $1,000 box. I was very impressed. Hardware switcher.
I saw that.
You guys, what do you use at Revision 3?
We use a switcher.
You
which
use a
is made
Slate,
by-
Broadcast Pick Slate?
No,
Or-
not Broadcast Picks. Who makes the switcher? It's darn it. I was going to ask.
Graham is your
Graham.
Pragerpedia. Graham.
His first failure.
Actually, yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter. You
spent.
spent a lot of money in there, but see, you had venture capital, and I think sometimes venture capital is bad for discipline because you have too much money you can spend. We could only spend what we made.
Yeah, I'm going. My new startup is all about the cheap.
I'm so excited. Tell me about Milk.
So Milk is essentially a small group of developers and one designer, myself as a product person.
Dan Burka,
Yeah, Daniel Burka joined us as our head designer.
your old he was the guy who helped you with Dig way back when.
Yeah, so
right?
Daniel joined me at Dig probably 2 months in, and he turned my nasty, ugly utilitarian design into something beautiful and
He's
elegant.
one of the best
and
designers out there.
He's awesome.
In fact, I want to ask you about Glitch because you probably know about Glitch, but
Yeah.
we'll ask you in a bit. But so this is Milk Inc. The company's called Milk.
Yes, it's called Milk.
The website is milkinc.com.
Yeah, we're at Milk on Twitter and Facebook.com/Milk.
So all it says on the site, we build apps. But
Yes.
what does that mean?
So
mobile apps?
Yeah, we want to do mobile. I think that mobile's a lot of fun right now. It's just such a really cool space, and there's all these new technologies like GPS and the cameras and all the stuff that the accelerometers that you have access to that I've never worked with. So I'm just excited to build some new kind of next generation apps and like quality apps.
So
not
you're
just-
the vision guy?
Yeah, basically, I've always been kind of a combination of a project manager / product guy / marketing / business / designer. So I'll create like wireframe designs and a couple different programs I use, hand them off to Daniel. It'll be all the kind of usability and flow of an application. So I'll say, like, if a user presses this, it goes to this screen. This is how this button should function. This is what I want to happen here. And then I mock that all up with all the flow, and then Daniel actually makes beautiful, nice versions of that. We debate some of the features, and then we pass it over to the developers who then code it up.
And the developers are also part of the group, or are they going to be contract?
No, they're all there. So there's a total of 6 of us. We have 2 iOS developers, one back-end kind of utility / iOS guy that does a little bit of everything, does all of our back-end stuff, helps us scale. One BD person, and then myself and Daniel, the designer.
No Android guy.
No Android, but our iOS developers have done Android in the past. So
they could.
If something hits, we're basically going to launch an Android version probably 6 months later.
One of the things that you said, I think it was a TechCrunch interview, you said, we'll kill our babies fast if they don't fly. You're not going to waste time with a dud.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we want to go after a couple of big ideas, and we know, I could go and build something that is just, I don't know, a slightly different version of a really popular app that's out there, like, say, Quora or something like that. And you can do that, and that's kind of like, it's an interesting space. I mean, like, Yammer is a great version of a more private version of Twitter for businesses, and that's awesome. But we want to try some bigger, bolder ideas, and we know that some of those actually will fail. I mean, it's just bound to happen. So
So you're not. It's interesting because you're not an incubator. First, I thought, oh, it's kind of like Idea Lab, Bill Gross's Idea Lab.
Right.
But you're not an incubator.
Yeah.
People aren't going to come to you.
No, they're not.
You're
We're
going
just
to
building
generate
our
all
own
the ideas.
Right, exactly. So we have 2 or 3 ideas on the table right now.
I love this.
That we want to go after, and we're going to build one first, launch it, iterate on top of it. Spend a few months working with it, and if it doesn't work out, we'll just shoot it in the head and move on to something else.
I'm super excited for this, knowing Kevin fairly well, and I think some of the things that you're best at is coming up with really cool, innovative ideas, and sometimes they're good and sometimes they might not be good, but you always have new ideas, a lot of them either making someone else's process better or something that someone else hasn't tried, and I think having the kind of company that Milk is allows you the freedom to fail and think of more ideas, because, we're all kind of ADD to some extent, so you might get excited about something, and if it sticks, that's great, and you can still, even if it's doing well, go on to something else, or just, kill it, like you said, and go on to the next thing that you're excited about. I think it's like perfect for what Kevin excels at.
It's gonna be fun. I can't wait.
I think it's a great idea, and it's almost old-fashioned. It's kind of like a workshop where the whole thing gets produced, handcrafted software. I like the idea a lot.
Yeah,
it's
cool in that we spend most of our time working on one app, and then like last Friday we sat down in that afternoon, had a couple of beers, and then we're like, okay, what are we going to do as kind of our nights and weekends project, where it's like a smaller idea.
Project.
Yeah, exactly, a 20%, but with our own idea. So we have another one that we're kind of cooking up on the side, and it's awesome.
Self-funded, or are you going to?
I self-funded the first few months, and now I'm about to close funding, so that'll be done sometime in the next week or so.
Oh, great.
So I'm the whole idea, though, like you said about venture capital, I'm really, having raised a lot of money for both Revision 3 and Dig and all these companies, there's pluses to that, and there's also downsides to taking on a bunch of capital. You not only dilute yourself, but you take on board seats. You're no longer in control of the company. There's just a bunch of things there. So
to me, it's about control, not so much giving up a percentage of the company. It's giving up control.
Yeah,
and I have to say that probably your experience with Dig informed that a little bit.
Absolutely,
it must have been a little frustrating at times. And
if you wanted to, I'm sure, like say you wanted more money to build your studio, you could probably get it in a heartbeat without losing
absolutely.
much.
Well, nowadays you can, can't
so for
you?
I bet you could get the money you need to finish off the studio immediately, and I bet you'd give off 5%.
Okay.
Less than that.
Maybe, yeah. No, seriously.
Okay. Done.
You should seriously do it.
If you said I'm entertaining, if
I'd give up 5%. That's not a big deal.
Your financial.
We've already set up an operating structure where 30% of the company is set aside for that and for employees, and I still have 70%, so I still have absolute control. Is that right, Kevin? Even if as long as I can have more than majority, they can't take it away from me, right? That's what I care about, right?
Yeah. That's a big piece of it.
I know so many entrepreneurs. I think of Steve Jobs, but I think of also smaller companies where the founder gets pushed out by the board and the investors.
Yeah, but there's other ways to structure it. So another way, what you can do is, so you wonder, how does Zuckerberg maintain control, right?
Yeah,
so
no kidding.
One of the things that he did that was really smart, and a lot of companies are starting to do this, is where when you go in as the founder, if you have a product that's really successful, you can demand certain rights that other people wouldn't get. So one of the things that I believe that he did was that you tell the other employees sign an agreement saying that their common vote goes with the founder. So even though you don't control the stock, you control the common stock vote,
which is what you want.
And as long as you control the vote, you won't get overthrown. So
we have Class A, which I learned this from Paul Allen. We have Class A stock, which is mine, and then I'm giving the other stock I'm giving out as a Class B stock. And remember, Paul did that to us.
Well, yeah, but he's saying, look, I'm losing money here. So some people had stock that Paul Allen gave to certain people.
I had 300-something thousand shares.
But he sold
but
it
it was
for a massive
worthless.
loss. But even like, if
but it implies you have a percentage of the company. But you're right. If he loses money, you don't have any money.
Well, if you run a company and you raise $1 million and the company sells years later for $1 million, those investors who invested the $1 million are going to get their money first.
And that's how I've set it up too.
Yeah, but there's
I learned the hard way.
So there's other things too that can screw you. Like, let's say, for instance, you go and you raise a couple $1 million, and then you sell the company for $5 million. You think, oh, that's great. Everyone gets paid out, right? In some cases, the investors that you're raising the money from, they have a guaranteed outcome, meaning that they want to see like a 5x return, whatever it may be.
That.
And so they can go in and claw back some of the shares from you, and then you'll end up with absolutely nothing. So that's where you can really get screwed. So it's really tricky stuff.
Paul Graham said you don't bootstrap your own company. He also said you need 2 founders. I'm bootstrapping with my single soul self, so I'm
You should seriously raise some money. Like, you could go out there and do a convertible note right now and give away just like 1% or 2% and put $1.5 million in the bank and build out this entire thing.
I could get my boat. So
That's what you don't do with the money.
If you need a driver for the boat.
So tell me about Glitch. This is something that everybody's talking about. It's going to go into beta, a little bit more public beta next week. Daniel Burka, the designer, I haven't played it, but a number of people have played it in the chat room, said it's pretty cool. You must have played it by now.
Yeah, I've played it. So
it's
Daniel,
a massively multiplayer online role-playing game.
Mm-hmm. It's really cool. It's like a side-scroller, 2D, really beautiful.
But that's already
worlds.
weird, because I never heard of a massively multiplayer side-scroller.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. They've been working on it now for about a year and a half.
It's pretty.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's come from some of the Flickr founders.
Yeah, so the founder, Stuart Butterfield of
Stuart
Flickr,
Butterfield.
this is his new
Well,
thing.
you know, it's funny. Flickr was a game before
Yeah,
it was
so
a
that's the
photo
idea.
site.
That's basically what they wanted to do, was they actually
The
make that
actual
game.
thing that Flickr
Yeah.
was supposed to be.
So Cal, the CTO of Flickr, and Stuart joined up to create this.
It's really pretty. Are these all of Daniel's drawings? These?
No, some of the stuff is his. There was a couple other illustrators that worked with him on this stuff. He did pretty much all the UI stuff, so like that kind of stuff right there. That's
So
all.
it seems like this is a online role-playing game for people who don't want to do, you know, the sword and sorcery genre or the sci-fi genre.
This is, I think, more like Sword and Source. Well, it's not like
There's
Sword and Source,
fantasy.
but it's side scroller like that. You know, it's
Yeah. You know, maybe like a Little Big Planet or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
kind of.
yeah. I haven't spent a lot of time on it.
Are there animals?
in a
You have to
while.
raise animals?
Is the game
like
web?
plants.
Is it web based?
Is it?
Yes, it's web based.
Yes,
it's
so
like
you don't
Flash.
have to download it and install anything.
Oh, that's neat. I like that.
Yeah.
There's alchemy. There's home improvement. There's music.
All the crafting sports.
It's kind of the Glee version of World of Warcraft. You can make drinks.
But can you like
Interesting.
Can you sell cows though?
I don't think you can sell.
I am
cows.
so damn hooked on these stupid farming games. Please, somebody just tie my wrists and hang me from the mast.
need help.
Now,
I need help
Zynga
badly,
took over
Robert.
The old Tech TV headquarters is all Zynga.
It's all Zynga, isn't it?
Yep.
Shows you how well they're doing.
Okay, well.
It's good old 650 Townsend Street.
650
Sega still
Townsend.
there?
No, they took over the whole thing.
Oh, it's a cool building. The old-fashioned building.
Yeah.
That incredible atrium lobby thing.
Yeah, except when they had the exotic erotic ball there that time.
They started putting like little planetoid objects in there, and then they painted them into the walls to go along with the physical ones in the lobby.
Yeah, that
It
was weird.
The cruise ship building.
I missed that. I must have left
was a neat
before they
space.
put the planetoids.
No, you were there, didn't
Yeah,
you?
you were-
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't
It was
we?
in the front lobby.
We all left at the same time.
You know, no, we did not all
wait.
leave at the same
No, wait,
time.
wait, wait, wait.
I made
You
an
were doing
early
you
exit.
were doing Call
In
for
fact,
Help.
I would like to point out that now TWiT is. I've been doing TWiT as long as I was at Tech TV, actually a month longer.
You
'cause
started in 1998, right?
I started May 1998 for Tech TV. That's when it launched, May 11th, 1998. And the day they were sold, which I think was April 1, 2004, April 2004. So after 5 years and 11 months, they were sold.
when-
They let me go.
Okay.
So I was gone, but Comcast came and I went.
I remember when
And
it
so
was,
I've been here longer by a month.
that whole deal was
cool.
going down, and it was kind of cool because not cool that it went down, but it was cool that all of the three of us anyway, not Robert, were all in DC doing all that DC stuff. So back, all the
Oh, I
turmoil-
was there with
all
you.
the
We were
horrible
interviewing,
turmoil was
with
happening
DC
in San
stuff.
Francisco. We did a whole week of going through all the interesting, cool technology things going on in Washington.
And we
was
interviewed
there.
Michael.
Everything from the
I remember
FAA down to heck, I remember traveling to Honeywell that does like body bullet
Oh, I did
proofing
that.
type technology, and all these kinds of different everything from the government agencies down to just interesting military technologies that you might be able to see there. It was a complete side deal, but we just happened to be way over there, and it was nice to be away from kind of the devastating
we weren't
chaos
there.
that was
yeah.
taking place. At the
I was
headquarters.
interviewing Michael. What was his name?
The chairman of the FCC.
Powell. Michael Powell,
Powell,
chairman
yes.
of the FCC, and he
remember
was a
that.
fan. He was a Tech TV fan, and he said, "What's going on?" And I said, "Well, it's pretty much the end of Tech TV. Comcast has bought us."
It was fun because I think one of the segments you did is you took a stroll through the Best Buy with the chairman
Wasn't
of
that
the
fun?
of the FCC.
I do remember that.
Yeah, it was fun. And he's just talking about all the gadgets that he wants to have at home and how he uses them.
Can I tell you something? I'm at the NAB show, and you go around these things. People come up to you. Every 5 minutes somebody comes up and says, "Oh, Leo," and invariably they say, "Screensavers, Tech TV. I've been watching you since ZDTV or Tech TV." And many of the younger guys said, "I grew up watching the screensavers. It's why I'm a geek. It's why I'm in this business." Still to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, we did something there, Kevin.
I still get that at the Dignation events. People come up and say, I've
course.
been watching you since Tech TV.
Since Tech TV, yeah. Yeah. I call it Tech TV because I'm not going to say ZDTV, then Tech TV and all that. Has anybody read Paul Allen's book? Where he slams Bill Gates? He just came out with a tell-all.
Somebody in the chat room mentioned he's on 60 Minutes tonight.
Tonight he's on
What'd he
60
say?
Minutes.
I don't know. I haven't seen 60 Minutes episode yet, but it's on tonight. Probably right after.
I wonder if he mentions us. No, he's not going
This
to
is
mention
boss.
us. Just one of many bad business deals that Paul Allen made. All right, well, there's a lot to talk about in just a little bit. We're going to talk about Portal 2 and an interesting promotion, as long as we're talking about video games.
I'm preloaded.
Huh?
I preloaded that game.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm ready to go for Tuesday.
You can't run it till they release it,
Not until
right?
Tuesday. Middle of the work week.
Bastards.
Good timing.
Such a good game.
I can't wait. I'm actually excited.
A new Nintendo at E3, perhaps.
That's exciting.
That's the rumor.
That could be cool.
We'll talk about it. And is France plotting to kill the free internet? Plus, a video recorded greeting from Patrick Norton. He was in the desert, as usual. Patrick just can't sit still, can he?
None of that surprises me.
You know who's been with TWiT for longer than, well, we have 3 sponsors who have been with us since almost the beginning. Citrix is one of them. But here's a product that they did not have, or they weren't promoting, at least when we first started. Really great product called Go to Assist Express. I want you to give it a try today. This is, they tell me, and I only dimly remember this, that we use this on the screensavers, or we were trying to use this on the screensavers to help people with their computers. Well, it's come a long way since 1998. Go to Assist Express uses that Citrix remote access backend to make it easy to do remote support. Stop doing phone support. Just reach into their computer and fix it. It's so much easier. And because you can do 8 sessions at once, you can do unattended sessions, you can work with a Mac on a PC and vice versa. Really, the sky's the limit. We're talking about a major improvement in productivity. If you're in the support business, or if you just do as I do, and I'm on the phone with my mom, and she says, I can't figure out how to, where my Quicken data went, go to Assist Express. Go to assist.com/twit right now to try it free for 30 days. They have day passes as well as month subscriptions, so you can use the plan that makes sense for you. But for now, try the month subscription free. Go to assist.com/twit. Did anybody get invited? Did you get invited to France?
What was France?
I'm waiting. I don't know if this is a hoax or not. I got an email this week from the Deputy Minister of the Interior in France. You know, the G8 summit's at the end of May.
G8.
And they're doing this thing called EG8. Sarkozy, I'm going to get a gilt-edged envelope on Monday. I think it might be a hoax. I'm not holding my breath. Although I called Loic and he said, oh, no, I was invited. You're going.
Nice.
So they asked internet leaders, Amazon's Jeff Bezos, Google's former CEO Eric Schmidt, I guess he's chairman of the board now, so that counts, Mark Zuckerberg, and me, and I'm sure 500 other close friends, to go and talk about internet and security, internet and economy, internet and society with Sarkozy and his leaders prior to the G8 summit to prepare a white paper for the G8 about the internet and how, how it should be treated.
And why is France wanting to be the catalyst in this?
G8 is in France. It's in Deauville, so this is 3 days before the G8 in Paris.
Is it getting them up to speed on the current events?
I think they're trying. Sarkozy's notorious for kind of being anti-internet. He's the guy who kind of formulated the 3 strikes laws that are in effect in France. 3 accusations of piracy and you're offline forever.
Wow.
Forever meaning longer than Mitnick was not allowed to be online?
Yes, forever. And other things. So he's kind of notoriously kind of pro-business, pro-big business, and anti-internet neutrality. So I'll be curious. It's a chance. In some ways, it's a chance. I think for people like me who feel very strong on the other side to say, hey, wait a minute. Hey, Nick, baby. Anyway, I don't know. So I was just curious if anybody else is, maybe I think it's a hoax.
I think there just needs to be more honest discussion about the damages that are possible. It seems like they always overestimate or overstate how much money is lost when somebody pirates software or something like that.
I guess what I would say is, what is the damage to society?
Right.
If you bend over backwards to protect these content holders, the pendulum swings, of course. And I believe, content holders have rights. I'm not saying that. You create something of value, you have the right to protect it. I'm not saying that. But when they go so far as to knock people off the internet for 3 accusations, when they kind of go to the point beyond, due process, then the pendulum has swung too far.
That and internet services become something akin to, I'd say, a utility that's almost necessary nowadays.
Well,
not so
yes.
much say as water or air, but
Well, there was a country,
it's
was it
close.
New Zealand, that said that it should be akin to an inalienable right.
It should
to
be
have
a
access
right.
to
It's
the
a
internet.
human right.
I think it should open it up to more people.
Yeah.
Should be easier
And
to
let's
access.
face it, look at what Kevin's doing. Innovation.
Want a drink? It's one.
Have a drink. Innovation, an open internet
was
is
calling me out. I was like, oh.
Look what Kevin's doing. He's drinking. No, I was talking about milk, but I'm just saying that's because of the internet that you can create a little startup, create this little thing, and yet it is an international, it's a global company out of the box.
Right. It's like to say, like, you could never block someone from starting a business, right? Like, even if you go to jail, you become you go to prison and come back, you can still start any new company. And
Right.
how could you not start something on the internet?
Right.
Did you see what happened with Amazon?
No.
With the lawsuit with the streaming music service?
Yeah, so Amazon's cloud
Was it a lawsuit?
service, the music industry's pissed, Sony's pissed.
They
This
wrote
is
a
another
letter.
example of just...
Amazon responded saying, screw you.
I agree with Amazon.
So do you see what is it? Do you have a letter in front of you?
No, but the story. I mean, the story that I just read on the way up here is that if you buy,
Thank you for preparing.
If you buy, Kevin was driving very fast. I was hiding in the back reading the articles. But the
Kevin,
story.
did you drive the Carrera?
I did. Yeah. I turned on my Wi-Fi. And so I have Wi-Fi on the little Verizon phone.
Awesome.
And so we were surfing the web.
But
Or
the
he
story
was.
essentially says that, if you own a piece of music and you store it on the cloud, in order to access the piece of music that you bought that's stored on the cloud, you should not have to pay a licensing fee. And I agree. If you buy a piece of music, you own it.
Right. They want
Sony
to charge a
says
streaming
you don't
fee.
own it.
And
I was
so
gonna say-
Amazon said, back off. They wrote and said, back off, no. Which
They're-
is basically protecting their clients who are keeping data on the cloud, among other things.
We talked about this last week. It's my opinion that Apple was poised to launch this service. They knew Amazon was getting close. They said, okay, go ahead, you first. Because they figured the lawsuits would all hit the first guy, which of course they're going to, and let Amazon defend this. And then if it goes well for Amazon, we'll do it. Amazon wrote, there's been speculation that we are looking for licenses for Cloud Drive and Cloud Player, licenses from the record companies. We're not looking for licenses. No licenses are required. Cloud Player is a media management and playback application, not unlike Windows Media Player and any number of other media management applications that let customers manage and play their music. It requires a license from content owners, no more than those applications do. It's really that simple. So they're saying whether you store it on the cloud on your hard drive, it's your music. No one else has access to
But
it.
it's the same thing. The cloud is the hard drive.
It's a hard drive,
It's just
yeah.
a remote hard drive over IP.
that happens to be owned by another company. But still, who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah, because you're paying money.
Yeah, what does it matter?
Even if they give it as a free service.
If I lease my computer so somebody else owns it, doesn't mean I have to get a license from Sony to play the music on the computer.
Right.
So I think they're in the right on this. Of course, you never know what the courts will say. I mean, it's kind of unpredictable.
And then you have another story about music, which is if you're not buying the music, it's a Spotify story about whether or not ads can support your usage of music. So they
Right.
used to be able to get a free, if you want to be a free subscriber to Spotify and not a paid subscriber, you can stream so many hours of music a month, and it's not
you
sustaining.
get, what is it, 20 hours?
20 hours, and now they're bringing it back to 10, and other
And
restrictions.
you can only listen to one song 5 times
Yeah,
ever in your whole life.
And it's not because Spotify's trying to be a-holes about it. It's because Spotify can't recoup the cost that it requires for them to provide that service. So then for companies like Spotify and Rdio, or if it's called Radio, is it Rdio or Radio?
Radio.
Radio.
I say Rdio.
And Pandora.
There's no
like,
A in it.
Yeah, I
It's-
know.
it's-
People are
You
still-
say radio?
It's
Yeah,
more difficult to support it with ads.
Rdio.
And so Spotify is saying
I love,
that-
you know what my favorite, though, and I know how to pronounce it, is Mog. Have you tried Mog?
Yeah, Mog.
It's like Rdio, but it's got 320 kilobits, and it's got twice as many songs.
How much is Mog, though?
Same price, $10.
it?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying that Spotify is saying to those people that are really upset at them that if you're someone that's going to be impacted by these new rules, then you're obviously a heavy enough user that maybe you should consider, maybe you should pay for the services that are being provided. I'm kind of a fan of, sometimes when you pay money for something, you're going to get a quality product. Like if Gmail all of a sudden had a Gmail Plus, I'd probably sign up immediately because I'd assume it'd be that much better.
Right.
And I feel like I'm paying them now. Now I feel like it deserves something
Right, it's
other
like
than just the
Evernote.
2 gigs of storage.
We
or
showed this.
7
Brian
gigs or
Brushwood
however.
told me about this, and I'll show it again. We showed it on Twitter a little while ago from an information visualization site called informationisbeautiful.net. How much do music artists earn online? This is a very graphic illustration. So, as a solo artist, to earn a minimum wage of $1,160 a month, if you make your own CD, you have to sell 143 of them. That's doable. So that's that dot. CD on CD Baby, 155. That's that dot. Retail, 161. Album download on iTunes. It gets bigger. It gets more. If you sell it at retail, 3,871 of them. That's that dot. If you sell it on Amazon or iTunes, you need to sell 12,000. It's starting to get pretty big. This is to make minimum wage.
Make how much?
Minimum wage, $1,160 a month.
Is it because Amazon takes us that much
on Rhapsody?
Wow.
849,000 plays a month, but that's not the biggest dot. On Last FM, 1.5 million plays, but that's not the biggest dot. Spotify, 4 million plays
To make the equivalent of minimum wage.
minimum wage for that independent artist. That's the size of that dot. So there you go, right there in a nutshell. That's the problem.
You should look at the infographic that Demand Media made about how much you get paid if you're a writer for Demand Media. If you type in Demand Media and infographic, it'll show how much a New York Times average New York Times reporter makes, how much a Demand Media reporter makes, not talking about video, and then the in-betweens. It's really fascinating.
So people complain about demand media because we've talked about that before also. That's the idea that you create articles in response to search terms so that you get more money. And frankly, the quality of the article doesn't matter, and that's why you could pay $5 to the artist. So this is from Silicon Valley Watcher. Is it that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Demand
it right
media
there.
breaking the bank. Okay.
So you've got your Demand Media writer, your journalist to
This is a Demand Media writer.
journalist to a mid-sized newspaper,
And the New York Times
New York Times
reporters.
guy. You got 90,000 a year average for New York Times, about 19,500 for a Demand Media writer who's probably writing 5 articles a day based on whatever he gets spit out.
Because they
by
get
the
15
Demand-
bucks an article, although I think it's even
Demand
less than
algorithm.
that. And so this is good. This is a nice infographic.
There's a Wired article about Demand that I read about a year ago, and it was probably like 8 or 9 pages long. And I feel like this infographic basically summarizes that, so you don't have to read the article.
So as much as people love Spotify, I guess your point is it's not going to last because it just doesn't. The economics don't work.
Well, it'll last if people pay. If people pay for
You
it.
got to pay, and that's why I don't mind paying $10 a month. I think that's a fair price for unlimited music. I get 9 million tracks.
Well, I normally buy about an album a month anyway. So if
this
I'm
is
buying an
that.
album a month, just why not have everything?
Do you prefer to own it or do you care?
I'm still weird, and then it feels. I like to have it. I like to actually physically own it in
like
a
to own
weird
it
way.
also.
I don't know why that is.
I like buying CDs just because I can rip it to a
Oh, you actually
lossless
buy a
format.
CD.
Because I just want it in lossless, and there are certain albums that I'm finding that I can't get lossless anymore, and unedited. That's the big problem I ran into. Like, I hate to say it, but I wanted the new Rihanna album, and it turned out that the only way I could get it unedited was to import it.
What do you mean unedited? They not
Just-
bleeping the
without-
expletives?
Yeah, there's only a couple songs that even need it, but it turned out they didn't even sell that version in the United States. And I was like, so then I go, okay, where can I get it?
You're the kind of guy that bought imports.
Where can I get it lossless then? And I was
You
like,
guys are all
okay.
too young to remember
And I
imports,
couldn't.
huh?
And I even went to Apple. I was like willing to pay
Remember
Apple
it?
if they could just sell me a lossless track.
You're talking about the expensive versions.
Remember
of
that
a-
you used to
of a-
buy, yeah,
of
but
a-
you'd
of
have,
a
this was
record?
in vinyl. Yeah, you'd go to the record store and they'd be specially wrapped German versions of the album.
They still
that
have
They
those
did that
in
on
places
CDs
like
too.
Amoeba.
Can you?
Yeah, it said import
Amoeba.
on the CD.
Oh, I bring
Yeah.
up music
Yeah.
tastes.
Yeah.
And I'm quickly being.
So that's interesting. David, are you a I have to own it kind of guy too?
Yeah, I am. I find lately a lot of the music I buy is I'll hear something either on Pandora or like in a friend's car while they're listening to satellite radio or something, and I'll use the likes of Shazam, or more importantly, I'll use
You like Shazam?
no, I like it used to be called Madomi, now it's called Soundhound.
Soundhound,
And
yeah.
I'll sample it through that, and then I'll actually click on the link to buy it through either iTunes or Amazon from that.
Interesting. You know, I have to say that radio or RDO and MOG have changed my habits a little bit. And I don't feel like I need to buy it. I'm going to pay $10 a month for. You have to.
Do
pay
they
it
have
for it.
everything though? That's
Yeah,
my problem.
9 million tracks.
Is that the same? So how
I
does
think
that
it's the
compare
same
to iTunes?
set. I think it's the
Same set as iTunes?
I don't know.
So like I can get every new album that comes out on.
I'd
on
love
these
you. I love it
services.
if you'd check.
I'd see that's the problem I've had in the past
'Cause
because
you have
I've
weird
signed up
taste.
for Rhapsody, I've signed up for a bunch of these different services in the past. And I'm
Mog
always like
has the
sitting there like,
most.
oh, it's missing these 2 albums.
Yeah.
Well, it's not gonna have the Beatles, right?
Right. Only iTunes has the Beatles.
Right.
And then there's stuff that's only on Amazon. If I'm going to buy an MP3, I buy it from Amazon. Especially because of the cloud player. It's stored for free forever.
I like
That's
that.
a
And you
great
get a free
deal.
upgrade to 20 gigs if you
20
buy an
gigs.
album right
That's
now.
a great deal.
There's some people
okay.
in the
That's
chat room
better.
commenting that a lot of the subscription services allow them to be able to play music that they wouldn't normally be able
It's
to
good for
afford.
discovery, too.
But also, like, if you don't have a lot of money and you want to listen to a huge amount of stuff,
Right.
you're going to be able to do
point.
that by paying a subscription versus.
Well, I'm an
owning
old
it all.
fart, so I've been collecting for years. So I have hundreds of gigs of music. All the music I'd ever want, I actually do have on the hard drive now. But what I don't have is the new music, and I can't make that discovery very easily. So these services are great for discovering music.
Are you able to put these songs onto portable devices?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So that's the other thing that's weird. As long as you keep paying the $10, you can download all of it, put it on an iPad, an Android phone, or an iPhone, and listen to it offline.
That's cool.
But
That's
periodically
key.
it has to check somehow.
It's funny how, like, even 5-10 years ago, remember when they were talking about, like, holographic storage and things like that, and they were
Right.
saying, like, in the future, you'll have the entire music collection on a small little cube. I was thinking, like, oh, that's going to be really cool, but it turns out we don't need that. It's all, like, stored in the cloud.
That's
It
what
doesn't
I'm
matter.
coming to. That's where I'm coming to with both Amazon and with these services.
Yeah.
Is why am I syncing and filling up my space?
Yeah.
I don't need to.
It's funny,
anymore.
when I bought this Air, they had a larger hard drive option, and I was like, I don't even need the bigger hard
64
drive.
gigs is plenty.
Yeah, exactly, because all my music, I did that upload to Amazon, and it's all on Amazon now.
And Dropbox, right?
Right, Dropbox. Exactly.
Dropbox. Then you keep your data on Dropbox.
Evernote.
Evernote.
All
Dropbox.
these services, yeah.
It's all in the
you
cloud.
got everything.
That's what's made it possible for me to use the Air too. It's plenty of storage
Yeah.
space.
All my Google Docs are
right.
out
Google
there.
Docs.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We're living in the future, man.
Future is now.
Are you worried?
There was that one take on the future where the hard drive manufacturers, just to upsell their components, were going to just start putting every song ever encoded and produced onto the hard drive. And, you can erase it if you don't want your storage, but there would at least be content already on the drive when you bought it.
Who is it? Seagate selling 3 terabyte hard drives now?
Yeah.
3 terabytes.
I need them. I need bigger.
Could you
My
fit?
NAS is full. I need more storage.
How
She
much?
said my ass is full. I was like, what the hell is he talking about?
I need
NAS.
My ass is full. I need more storage.
NAS, network attached. It's all those Blu-ray movies I encode or rip.
Now,
My
of
media
course, in
server.
the chat room's right on this one. TechSense saying yeah, and of course now AT&T saying 150 gigabyte cap. Comcast saying 250 gigabyte a month cap. On wireless, it's 3 or 5. I ran out of Wi-Fi or 3G.
See the
on
Engadget
my
story though
Verizon.
for Comcast is announcing that new 100 megabit service, and then they calculated how long you'd burn through. It was like within 5 days basically. You'd
If
go
you
through
watch
all 250 gigabytes.
TWiT
of your-
live every day, few days later you're done.
That's crazy.
And that's why
It's ridiculous.
Comcast says, oh, you don't have to worry about this. Nobody uses that much. It's 1%. It's the bandwidth hogs. But what they're doing is they're being very proactive. They're planning for a day when everybody's watching Netflix and downloading radio from RDO and all that. And they're saying, we got to watch out, guys. We're going to be out of business if people do that. So I really have a feeling that
need more internet providers, service providers.
that's what we need. Okay, let's talk about net neutrality.
yeah, but they own all the pipes, so how are you going to even get on?
You can't.
You can't.
And this is, I finally came to, because I understand the argument, you don't want the government regulating the internet. I completely agree with that, because these guys are morons. I'm going to play a clip in a little bit that you will just not believe.
Series of tubes.
Worse. It's actually worse than a series of tubes, and it's bizarre, but I'm going to play it for you in a second. But I finally realized why we do want to let the FCC protect net neutrality, because they made the mess in the first place. We wouldn't have a problem if the FCC hadn't granted a duopoly to cable and phone companies, saying, no, you can put in the copper, and as a result, you get a monopoly on internet access. So most people only have a couple of choices, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the reason net neutrality is an issue. If you had 10 internet service providers, you could go to the one that gave, one's going to give you bandwidth, equal bandwidth for everybody. You go to that one. One's not going to have caps. You go to that one. They're going to get all the business. But there isn't that choice. They're effectively a monopoly. They're colluding.
That's why it seems that the only additional choices appearing recently have been wireless solutions, municipal wireless being deployed in certain places.
I'm excited. We had the guy who wrote VisiCalc in here. I've forgotten his name, but his new campaign. He worked at Microsoft. He was the guy who put NAT routing into routers. He said, I knew that the internet service providers would end up wanting to charge everybody online. So nobody thought about this, but before anybody was on anybody's radar, I told Microsoft we should build these routers with NAT in them, And as a result, no internet service provider can say how many people are using that
Like
single
to shake
connection.
that person's hand.
Oh, what's his name? Chat room. You know, we just had him on our triangulation episode. It's just Rob Frankston. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Really one of the greats of all time. Anyway, Frankston is now big on community internet. He says that's the solution to net neutrality. You buy big pools of internet for your cul-de-sac or your street or your neighborhood. I think that's brilliant.
There are buildings in the Bay Area, apartment complexes
Yes.
in particular, that have 100 megabit going in, and
Yes.
everyone gets that into their, and you pay into like the collective to have that service right in your apartment. But it's harder to do that with individual households, unfortunately.
We got to do something. Anyway, this is why I thought it was appropriate for the FCC.
At least
to get
Google's
involved.
deploying some of that dark fiber finally. They chose, what was it, somewhere Kansas.
Yeah, Kansas City, not Topeka.
Nope.
Topeka's the one that renamed itself Google Kansas.
So it's getting at that last 100 feet into somebody's house.
Right.
That's where it becomes very limited.
Okay, Patrick Norton cannot be with us. He was, of course, one of the people on TWiT 1 exactly. It's kind of interesting. It was April 17th, 2005, exactly 6 years ago. But he did send us this greetings from the desert of Utah.
Remember the salt.
Leo and the whole crew up at TWiT, congratulations on your 5th anniversary. I am so sorry I could not be up there live for the taping today, but I am on vacation with my family. We're bombing through national parks in Utah. Actually, although right now I think we're in Arizona or Pipe Springs National Monument. I get confused where the state lines are out here. It is amazing. If you haven't been to the national parks, you should go. Bryce Canyon, Zion are incredible. And you know what? I'm wandering. 5 years, man. What an incredible accomplishment.
6.
Congratulations from all your friends at Revision 3, all your friends that have worked with you over the years, and from me and my family. Leo Laporte, TWiT. Wow, 5 years, man. Way to go.
So who's holding the camera? You think that's Sarah or Malachi on the camera?
Ooh, I don't know. It's probably Sarah or Seamus.
Seamus, not Malachi. Seamus. Malachi's Alex Lindsay's kid. I get them all these Irish names confused. We're going to take a break, come back with more. Our 6th anniversary. Let's open another bottle of the bubbly.
Still got some of this left. Give me your
All
glass.
right, yeah. I'll take some more. Robert Heron is here from HeronFidelity.com.
It's a new.
So you're doing like
Investment banking.
investment banking? I think so.
No, it's where I put up my musings for home theater, and I get to interact with folks and to provide when I say, hey, I got a place to put content too,
Yeah.
which is something
And
I like to do.
HD Nation is part of Texzilla now, so you're still doing that, right?
Totally.
Yeah. Awesome.
A bunch of new TVs for 2011 coming up.
They've got some pretty cool stuff.
That's a hell of a
Robert's
pour.
always
Thank
in
you.
our studio, and he's like calibrating TVs, and the lights are off, so you can calibrate. And then someone comes in like, "That's so dark in here," and turns the lights on.
It's okay. Thank you for the nice. We got more bubbly. David Prager also still at Revision 3.
Indeed.
You're the heart and soul of that damn operation.
Rocking.
I try.
Yeah,
It's
it
fun.
is.
It's amazing. I mean, for all of us in the media business and the television business, I mean, things are changing so fast. It's so exciting to see everything shift and the abilities for people to, watch things like TWiT and watch things like Revision 3 through every device that is being manufactured now for their, their home living rooms to their personal computing experience.
I'm really proud of what we Tech TV refugees, because that's what we all are,
Yep.
have done
I'm incredibly proud of you guys.
to keep that alive. Well, you too, Robert. You're part of
Kicking
it.
butt.
To keep it alive. And, it's not been easy. I know, David, you had to pound the pavement for quite a bit to get sponsors and to build that thing up, but you've
It
done
was
a great
fun. I mean,
job.
just to see things evolve and come together. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of hard work that got done by a lot of people.
Did we bring your site down again, Robert?
I was just about to try to log in and fully lock it down, so it's fully cached.
So sorry.
I'm trying.
One day, that's the screensavers effect.
I love it. You know what? This is so rarely happening. Hey, I finally got in. Maybe I can lock it down here, or it's 100% cached.
Would everybody please leave Robert?
No.
Leave Robert's site alone.
This is revealing weakness, and I need to address it immediately.
And of course, Kevin, who's now a serial entrepreneur. I think that's great. Revision 3, still doing Dignation.
Still doing Dignation.
Dig.com is just in the rearview mirror now, though, right?
I'm still on the board.
You're on the board.
I'm still helping out. I'd say I meet with the CEO a couple times a month.
Oh, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, it's good.
Matt's a nice guy. I like
He's-
Matt.
he's an awesome
I think you
dude.
left it in very good hands, to be honest. I think he really gets it.
Yeah, he's good. They just had a big month last month. Traffic was up 20%.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that.
Well, they've been going back and fixing a bunch of the problems and bugs and getting some features that the users wanted back
I'm so
online.
glad to hear
and
that.
It's been good.
Wow, that's a big jump.
It's a big jump.
And Leo, you're building a media empire in the middle of nowhere here in Northern California. It's awesome.
And I'm mighty proud of that.
You used to have to commute every day. You'd use Text America to take a picture of the Golden Gate Bridge every day. And now you don't even have the opportunity.
Text America?
You can't even Instagram the Golden Gate Bridge because you never have to go that way anymore.
Whatever happened to Mo blogging?
I don't know.
Mo blogging. That's right.
That's it.
Don't you think those poor Text America guys just got to go, what happened? We were right there. And now it's Instagram and everybody's
It's just,
doing
I mean,
it.
people iterate on original ideas and do them differently, better, or based on the technology of the day.
It's Damien, right? It was Damien that did that. What was his name? It was Damien, I think.
No, there was Chris.
Chris, I remember.
And also, he's gonna kill me. He's probably watching the show. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what he's
His
sitting in
name
his
if you
boxer
said it.
shorts, eating Lucky Charms and drinking beer, and wishing that he were making mobile apps.
Probably is.
There's so much, you know.
I'm
I mean,
surprised I haven't seen
if you
them
think
come up
about,
from the creators of Text America.
if you think about even what we've done here in Revision 3, you know, I mean, Josh Harris did that pseudo TV in 1998 or 99. I mean, I was just talking to Kiki Stockhammer. Play TV did this kind of thing. The problem was with Text America and those efforts, they were just too early. I mean, we could be too early for all we know. In a few years, people will say, whatever happened to that? What was his name? Leon? He's probably sitting in his underwear eating Lucky Charms, drinking malt liquor right now, watching the show.
It's a good life, Leo. Don't knock that.
Mickey Widemouth, baby.
I enabled lockdown. Let's see if I can enable some other caching here.
Robert's still fixing his website.
Trying.
Well,
At least
Robert
I was able to get in.
Well,
I'm going to
Robert-
switch to a different host.
Squarespace.
Well, Robert fixes his website. I'd like to mention FreshBooks.com. I have to say, when we were starting out, of course, we had to send out invoices, our own invoices. And if you're a contractor or independent, you're sending out invoices still. I remember that was the thing I hated the most. I loved the work. I hated the billing. And that's where FreshBooks really changed my life. Amber told me about FreshBooks in 2004 because they were a Toronto company. She knew the guys and changed my life. FreshBooks made it so easy to do my billing, my invoices. Finally, I'd actually get paid. I remember one time I left an invoice for 9 months. Try and get paid after not billing somebody for 9 months. 9 months later, hey, can I have my money?
Like they'll actually like
No.
No,
You
they,
know
do,
what,
they
this
do
is-
follow up on it though. Like if
They do.
If the invoice has been, you've even marked it as paid or something like that.
This is so cool. First of all, you know, you can do it by mail. So you upload the logo and everything, and it does it automatically. There's a button on the email that says "Pay it now" with credit card or one of 11 services like PayPal. So that really, you get paid faster just because of that. There's a lot of people.
So it makes
hey,
it easier for your clients to
yeah,
pay you.
I can pay it. I'm going to pay it. I don't know the clients. Most of the time, it's not that they don't want to pay it. It's just that, you know, they put it off. And
One-click process.
you can also have, this is really cool, automated invoices and auto billing and auto payment. You can set up, so you don't even have to think about it. And then, yeah, there are people who don't pay, so they've got late payment reminders. You're right. They kind of automate this whole process. There are old-fashioned folks who still want printed invoices. They'll do that for an additional fee. They stamp, print, and mail it. I used to do that for Rogers in Canada. Oh, and they handle multiple currencies, which is really great if you do business around the world. They've got an iPhone app that will track hours and then automatically put it in the invoice. Yeah, this is, you know what, this was one of the first Web 2.0 companies.
You know, it's funny. I actually met this guy, the founder and CEO. He was speaking at Ryan Carson's event.
FOA?
Yeah, FOA, Future Web Apps. And he talked about how he built his business and just like how he really cares about customers and the pricing model that he used, and he was really successful and profitable business, and it's awesome. It's a great story.
It is, and it really, I mean, this was literally one of the first Web 2.0 apps out there, and online invoicing. I love it. FreshBooks.com, free for your first 3 clients. That's the pricing model I like. And then very affordable as you grow. Of course, you're making money, so you can buy more services. It's really fantastic. But look at all the stuff you get for free. FreshBooks.com. Once a week, they're going to have a drawing for a free birthday cake. If you sign up, you could be one of the winners. There really is a birthday cake.
They just send you a birthday cake even if it's not your birthday.
Doesn't have to be your birthday.
That's amazing.
I
Isn't
think
that
it's
funny?
fun to do promotions like that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't cost them anything. It's just fun. It's just a good
With
idea.
those candles that you can't blow out, I hope.
FreshBooks.com. If you're still sending invoices, that's the way to do it. Someday, you'll be big enough, you'll have people to do that for you. The cake is not a lie. There's a Portal reference.
Oh, yeah.
Will there be cake in Portal 2?
Of course there's going to be cake.
GLaDOS. So they're doing a whole promotion. I think it's very, very clever, the Steam promotion, where they say you have to play this bunch of games to power up GLaDOS. And if enough people play and there are enough hours, GLaDOS will be powered up sooner. We were hoping they would launch it Friday, but they didn't, right? Didn't come out.
It didn't happen.
So you preloaded it on Steam, though? You can download it now?
Totally. If you have paid for the game, or yes, you can download it now. I think one of the better deals, though, is to buy it, if you want, buy it for one of the game consoles, like the PS3 or the Xbox 360. You then, at least on the PS3, you actually get a Steam login that gives you the game on Steam for the PC console, and you can do co-op between the PC and the game consoles.
that.
And I'm like, it's been a long time since I've actually did any kind of co-op with anybody.
That's clever.
I usually only play on PCs, but
Well, you're a troubled loner.
But I have a game console too that sits there relatively unused, so it'd be fun.
That's a great idea.
Fun to mix it up, and with that game in particular, it should be I'm looking forward to co-op.
So tell me how it's different from Portal 1.
That's going to be a good question. You know what? I've purposely not, except for the commercials on TV, I really haven't looked at it or investigated it. But my friend who works for Sony has played through quite a bit of it, and at least the first 3 hours of it. And he was.
Is it the same team that's doing it?
Yes. As far as I know. The story should be a little different, though, this time, in that it's going to be apparently a couple of the robots from before. At least I'm just basing this off of what I've seen on the commercials so far, but I'm looking forward to diving
I have
in.
to say, OMG Chad, who is our newest employee and is here today, even though he doesn't start till like July, but he decided to come give us all cupcakes, which I thought was very sweet. Did you had Robert? You ate the top off your cupcake.
The frosting fell off.
It fell off, but I did. And then I was like,
Wait a minute, these are defective cupcakes?
It slid right off.
Some might call that an effective means of consuming it.
But I probably cut the calorie count in about a quarter of
Yeah,
what
no
it was.
kidding.
Sugar content for sure.
That's
The experience has never been this real.
this Portal? No, this is some advertising.
Never this
Never mind. Go. I hated the
pre-roll.
You know, we're going to be doing pre-rolls, I think, at some point. So I shouldn't say anything bad about pre-rolls, but
15 seconds, no more, right?
it's oh god, you can't do more. This is our 30-second preview.
Okay,
they're doing. I know.
tried to lock down my website. I even updated
Is it working?
WordPress.
All right, let's see if it didn't take you down.
No, it's history.
Is it down again?
No, I don't know. Probably.
Generally, when does the episode become available for
encouraged me
non-live
to,
streamers?
It'll come out in a few hours.
Okay, well, Robert needs to be ready for round 2.
Yeah, because this is the live streamers, and the real onslaught is when we release it.
The original had creative
Looks like it's up.
puzzles, a
Yeah, it's
surprisingly
kinda there.
well-developed fiction, and
This is
one
from
unforgettable,
IGN.
funny, murderous robot. With the second Valve
This looks really good, a lot more detail. You know, I was saying OMG Chad because when we were at E3 last June, we were, thanks to him, he bulldozed his way into the Steam presentation and got exclusive video of Portal 2. So look how long it takes, almost a year later.
We don't know all
The
the
co-op side of this, too, is going to be pretty crazy in the sense that in the first game, you had to do moves that maintained your motion or momentum in order to get
jump
past
and
certain
stuff,
areas,
yeah.
so you'd maintain speed. In this case, you'll be able to pair up with your partner where they'll have to fire the portal you'll go through.
Oh,
And
so
you'll
their
be-
timing will have to be concerted with.
It's going to add a whole new take to it, and there's just not enough good co-op games out there anyway. So
This is a good way to get sick, this game. Oh, look at the cubes flying around.
I find it harder to watch it being played than to actually play it.
Very nauseating.
Oh, you mean kind of like driving the car and then you're sitting in the back
Totally.
seat? Yeah.
It's one of the last games I played that actually made me, physically ill. It's because it's so compelling. You get drawn into it, and you feel like you're there, jumping through the holes and stuff. This looks good. I can't wait to play it.
I bet you that's on one of the consoles too.
Yeah, that's pretty. This looks pretty high quality.
In the comments that say, Leo needs a video game show once he moves in the new studio, and the response is like, but Leo doesn't know enough about video games to do a video game show.
I'm ignorant. I admit it. I'm just a player. Did you see Gary? What Gary of Gary's Mod did?
That was clever.
This is brilliant. I don't know what Gary's Mod. It's a Steam.
It's
Physics
a
engine.
sandbox mode for the Half-Life engine, to where you can basically go in and create any scenario, you can hook jets onto a trash can and have it zip around.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
Experiment with anything you want and to play around with the game itself.
So
game engine.
He wrote a bug into it that only happens if you didn't pay for it, if you're using a stolen copy. And
It's $10, I think.
You
Or it
get,
used to
I
be
know,
$10.
it's crazy. You get the error, unable to shade polygon normals. And so what he does is he says, just do a Google search for unable to shade polygon normals. The error code that you get is your Steam ID. So people are going online saying, is there something wrong with Gary's mod? I get this error message when I try to shade polygon normals.
And then the solution just says, "Oh, the solution is buying a copy of Gary's mod."
Yeah. They're pasting their ID right all over the place.
Or they put it into Valve's forums, and then Valve says, "Okay, we'll take that. We'll see if that person actually purchased the game. Okay, ban." I'm like, come on,
oh, man! I'm getting nauseous
Shake
looking
head.
at this. Look at this. Oh, it looks
Face
like so
palm.
much fun. So it's basically the same game though, but they've just got a lot. Oh, look at that! He put a hole in, the whole thing fell apart.
It's awesome.
Drool.
So what do you think of the Nintendo rumors?
I hope they're true. We're going to be at
I do
E3.
too.
We're going to be covering it again this year. Brian Brushwood and I are going to go down. The trick on E3 I learned last year is you go down the day before it starts because the press conferences are on Monday. So you go Monday to hit the press conferences. That's when Nintendo will announce if they announce. So we will, if we can't get into the press conferences. I have a bad record lately.
Really? I would think you get in. I mean, traditionally E3 as press, you go there before.
No, but see, I go with a camera. And they know now that even if I don't have a camera visible.
Well, that's why you send Brian with his undercover camera
Yes.
in, and then he'll come out and tell you what to cover afterwards.
Exactly. So we will definitely be out. At least we'll be out in front of the Nintendo announcement if we can't actually get in. He scammed his way into it last year. So we'll.
What do you think that means for the other two big consoles? Because traditionally they all come out in threes, or like, at least for the past 3 times.
I don't think Microsoft's even close with Xbox 360.
I haven't heard a peep out of it. I was
no
surprised
reason
to hear
for them
about
to do a
Nintendo's.
thing right now.
No, they're doing fine, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with
number one.
Same thing with Sony, right?
Sony's
Nintendo's the one that had to update. They weren't even HD.
They've always had that track record though of producing hardware that from the point it's shipped, they were never losing money on anything. It was always making money from day one, and
That's true.
They were always able to. I mean, their expenses were covered almost instantly.
So what do you do? What do you put in a new generation, second generation Nintendo?
I don't know what the hardware.
HDMI port.
Yeah, but I don't know what the
Number
hardware
one.
costs are. But I'm thinking if they get to release a console and have a dormant year from Sony and Microsoft, try as hard as you can to make that thing more powerful than those two. Then you've got the most powerful console out there, even though it's not necessarily Nintendo's.
Yeah, but
backbone at all.
they don't normally do that.
But
though.
can they do it? It's been long enough that the costs to build a brand new console.
They're still
en
using
masse-
like the original Nintendo graphics chip in the Wii's. It feels like.
Oh, they
Like,
are. It's very.
they're like super polygon-y, like, but they embrace that and it makes it cool.
The AMD chip still that they're using.
Look at people who are buying and really getting into 8-bit again, right? It's hot right now.
Well, that can run on everything. That's the other thing too. All those classic games will run perfect on even older cell phones. So
There's
there's that. But
There's a hot, one of the hottest games on the iPad is an Atari 2600 emulator, and you could play Star Raiders and Asteroids, but it's really crappy.
okay, that's what I heard.
It's it's exactly like the 2600
Oh, okay.
crappy.
I mean, it's that good.
It's got the 8-bit sound here. I'll turn it on and you can hear the sound. I mean, we forget how bad this crap was.
It's rocking.
You hear the sound? Doesn't it remind you? I mean,
I love it.
of your Ute, and it's got a little button here.
Oh,
And the joystick's there.
That's amazing. Those are like great, like
But you
ringtones
just
or
said
like.
it's really crappy, and at the same time, it's really awesome.
Well, there's this
Right.
huge.
That's what makes it awesome is how crappy it is.
No, it's just the fact that you
but
can.
is it fun to play?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's. I mean, if you look at the the amount of what's the chemical reaction in the head for pleasure?
endorphins.
The same number of that is released in your head
Serotonin,
now with
yes.
the most badass game console as it was when you were 8 years old.
Well, that's
playing
why
those
it's
games.
total nostalgia. You're playing. It doesn't.
Dude, that's great music. Amazing. Somebody please loop this and make it into an animated GIF so I can have it.
they will.
10 more seconds. It'll be done.
What game is that?
That sounds like very advanced music for the Atari,
There's Battlezone.
doesn't it?
That's pretty sweet. It sounds like Chemical or Daft Punk like remix that.
That's also the same situation.
Dude, the Daft Punk soundtrack on Tron is amazing.
I just got the box, the 5-disc set.
I just watched it for the first time last night.
Blu-ray, the 3D Blu-ray.
So good.
The original
I
on
don't know what
Blu-ray.
you-
I never saw the original.
DVD.
What is it?
Someone in the chat room said
Original?
that listening to
I
that
love the
music
original.
makes them feel like bumming quarters from their mom again.
That's awesome.
Do you think that's a remix or that's the actual original?
That
I think that's a
sounds
remix.
like a remix.
I think it's too
Yeah,
good.
It's a little too good.
It was worse than that when those were. Where's that? That's pretty funny.
I was a quarter junkie.
Were you guys into Tron, the new movie Tron, when it came out?
I haven't watched it yet.
You haven't seen the new Tron?
No, I have it on Blu-ray. It's sitting there.
Oh, my
just waiting.
God.
I finally watched Inception the other day, so
Oh,
that tells
really?
you how
It's a
far
little
behind.
behind.
What'd you think of Inception?
I was like, I got it. Everyone was like, this is going to blow your freaking mind. And I'm like, I watched it. And I'm like, okay, I got it.
It was good.
I'm going to watch it again. Maybe I really missed
Is it out
something,
on
but-
Blu-ray yet?
Yeah.
I want
That's
to see
how
it like that.
I picked that up, so.
You know what you should do? Do you do this on HD Nation? Is reviews of the content of the Blu-ray movies and stuff?
That'd be kind of cool.
Like, is this a good? Not only is this a good master, but is it a good movie?
Totally. We go over image
You do that?
quality on some of the films based on some of the guys that do this all the time.
Right.
Because I don't sit there and stare at it for every little. I have reference content that I pay attention to very well, but I don't go through every movie I look at, and be very critical of how it was encoded, how it sounds. But for Tron in particular, everyone is giving it 5 out of 5 for audio and visual quality, and I'm just like, okay, I just bought
But how's
that.
the movie?
I have no idea.
Have you not seen it?
No.
Oh my god, it was great.
Really?
Well, I didn't see the original, and
Oh,
I know I
interesting.
lose geek cred by saying that, but I did not see the original.
The original was terrible, so I don't think you missed anything.
This is just it's beautiful.
You love the original?
I do.
And you didn't see the new one?
No, not yet.
So
Well,
it was so good.
Well,
I mean, it's
Blu-ray's
beautiful.
out, I have no
There's
excuse.
hot chicks. There's
It's actually the disc.
there's
in my trunk.
action.
I have
There's
Tron
like
in my
people's
trunk
arms
right
getting
now.
cut off.
You have it in your trunk? Go
Yeah.
get it. We'll watch it.
Dude, it is amazing. Leo, you should seriously watch it. You
I
gotta
will.
watch it.
I think it's on Netflix.
We were using it to take a look at a TV's ability to put out active 3D. It looks amazing with some of these newer TVs with the 3D glasses.
You have a 3D TV?
No, we have some in to review over at
Do you
Review
like 'em?
3. I don't know. I think that if you're sitting in a dark room by yourself, it might be worth it for the high-end movies, and that's the only time I think I'd really want to wear
The 3D
glasses.
TV?
If you have the active 3D glasses and you turn them on, you'll start to feel the flickering if you're not looking at just the TV, which can give you a headache. So
That sucks. I'm waiting. It's too early.
I don't think it's ever going to be there.
It helps to be in a dark room if you do have a 3D TV. Turn out all the lights, sit right in the front and center of the screen.
When are the straight up glasses gonna, like the ones that you get at the movie theater without the?
Now.
Are
Buy
they
those
out?
now, yeah.
LG's
LG
doing
and
that.
Vizio are
Yeah.
both using the passive
call
technology.
So
It's
is
real
that
deal.
better, or is the active technology
different.
It's different.
Yeah.
The
A lot of
glasses
people-
are cheaper, which is nice.
Glasses are dirt cheap. So, like,
Well-
Vizio includes, like, 4 pairs right in the box.
But it's not as good.
Well, it's currently half
darker.
resolution.
Yeah, lower res.
So you're losing half the resolution on the screen. However, a lot of people claim that they don't suffer from any of the flicker issues or other issues where some people get headaches watching watching 3D content with liquid crystal shutter glasses.
So you just take a couple Advil before you start the movie.
Maybe. Yeah.
And have that barf bag right
it's-
next to
That
you.
seems to alleviate some of the issues that go into passive. However, passive, I believe, also does wide viewing angles a little bit better. You could sit further off to the side, but up and down is where it gets screwed up too. So you're being a guinea pig for a lot of this
Yeah,
stuff. The
that's how
first
I
gen.
feel.
We're on like basically the second gen for active shutter glasses, and the second gen, I imagine, for passive shutter will require a double resolution TV. So they're going to have quad resolution. soon enough.
I'll tell you, that's what I was excited
what's gonna
about.
push it.
NAB, of course, there were all the 3D cameras and everything, but there were a lot of 4K displays,
Yeah.
4K cameras. There was Sony showed an 8K camera, Red showed a 5K camera. To me, and James Cameron at the keynote talked about the idea of shooting 48 frames a second for film and 60 frames a second for video. And then what you're getting is this super hyper real image that to me is better than 3D because
Yeah.
it looks like real life.
Yeah, less blurring per frame.
It's
too, when you-
beautiful. It's
when you up the
bright. It's
frame rate
crisp.
compared to. And you know what? It's a multiple of 24, so I think it'll still retain some of that film look, that film
Yes.
quality
Yes.
of video that I personally
Nice.
like it.
Yeah.
So I don't want that to go away, but I wouldn't mind. And in particular, Jackson for The Hobbit. That's where he posted that great post in Facebook.
They're shooting those all on Epics.
Doing everything on 48 frames per second.
Yeah.
He claims, well, his part of it's also that it'll make a better 3D presentation by improving the detail of each frame.
When does that come out? Do you know?
I hate hobbits.
You hate hobbits? What is
Furry.
wrong with you?
Furry-footed little. It's just that whole movie. it didn't. It's a story. Yes, I know it's a story, but honestly, they could have just flew that eagle right to the Mordor and dumped the damn ring. In
Yeah,
about,
that's a good point.
In about
just fly
20
the
minutes.
eagle right there. Just
I
dump
used to
it
always
in.
think that, but I'm afraid to ask it because I figure maybe I didn't quite realize why they couldn't do that.
Give up.
Because it would have been a short movie.
Yeah.
I do like Gandalf. I will admit.
Who doesn't like Gandalf?
I know.
Which version?
Pot smoking wizards are awesome.
The white?
So,
Gandalf the Grey?
Oh, this does look
I don't know, actually. See, I want to watch
here's-
this for the audio.
There's the chicks.
And I like,
You can put almost anybody in latex and they're, well, maybe not.
but I like how they did the young version of what's his face?
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges, yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That was
Oh,
the reverse Benjamin Button effect.
They had those dots all over his face to track every portion of his
It's
face.
really cool.
And the 2 cameras and all the infrared lights right there, and it was just a
Yeah, we did a special on it. It's pretty amazing.
Cool
the technology
stuff.
they used.
Look at that.
All right, this
I mean,
looks pretty
visually,
good.
It's
all the visual effects,
But
right?
it's actually a decent plot, too.
All right.
I mean,
Bruce
it's not
Boxleitner
horrible.
in it.
No.
Is he?
Is he still alive?
Of course he is. He's my hero.
Electrify the boys and girls.
They have the guy who goes, he's not any kind of user, sock. He's not any kind of program, sock. He's a user. That was you don't remember that. You didn't
Well, I
see the
saw
movie.
this. They said the same thing.
They did? They said the same thing?
It was along the same lines.
People go, ooh. We're going to take a break. Kevin Rose is here, David Prager, Robert Heron. It's been too long. The original cast of what was called originally The Revenge of the Screensavers.
That you
The first
bleeped out.
twit.
Attack of the
I didn't whip it. I got a cease and desist from G4. They do technically own that name.
Did you get a letter that you could frame?
The Revenge
Oh, I
one?
should have framed it.
That would have been awesome.
G4's actually been really nice to me.
I'll bet.
Yeah, they've been very kind. They say they have all the old Tech TV shows in a vault somewhere.
It was tough. I remember I wanted to find something that they did, and I emailed a few people over there who were more than willing to help, but it's just so hard to. They didn't organize the stuff in the vault, so they can't. It's not easy to find out what tape number certain thing is. So I can
finding this tough.
But I can find the web page associated with a piece of video content, but they can't link that piece of content to a tape in their vault.
Yeah, but what kills me is they're still taking down some of the videos on YouTube. Like
They're
I
doing
tweeted
takedowns,
out something that was an old Tech TV clip. It was like a segment.
Why?
And
Not-
it said this has been removed by
Why?
G4 blah blah blah, and that was like 6 months ago.
Come on,
I know.
guys. Why?
I don't get it.
I
It sucks because I didn't have a copy of that anywhere. I was like, oh, look at this
I
crazy,
know.
awesome moment, and then like it was gone, and I'll never see that again. It sucks.
So, God, this was at Blog World 2 years ago, so I'm starting to wonder maybe if I just dreamed it. But the web guys from G4 came up to me and said, Leo, we have everything ever recorded. We have been quietly digitizing it all this time, converting it for the web all this time. And we want to put up a Tech TV history site where everything would be there. But we don't want to do it if you say, I hate the idea. And I said, I love the idea.
Well, they own TechTV.com.
So I said, do it. Now, I haven't heard from them ever since. So I think that's fantastic, and I'd love it if they did that. There's some people still within there. I mean, you worked there for another 6 months or so, Kevin. I remember you weren't real happy working there, but you stayed there for a while.
Yeah.
There are people in there who are fans who would love to see that old stuff be up on the, at least on the web, where it wouldn't cost them anything to offer it.
Yeah, I wonder how many of those people are still left, though.
Not many.
Yeah.
Well, if they're listening right now, what happened? I'd love to, whatever I can do. And if nothing else, could I just get some old shows that we could just put in reruns here? We'd run them late night. Wouldn't it be fun to run old screensavers late night? Wouldn't that be awesome? Nobody'd mind that. They're not going to.
Does Internet Archive have any of?
I have a bunch of old
Tech
shows.
TV
on videotape.
On tape,
On
yeah.
VHS tape.
Yeah, I captured a ton of them for putting together a reel that I was going to do.
That's
So
awesome.
they gave me. I probably have like 30 or 40 something. Like
People
that.
send me DVDs once in a while. I have a collection, but I don't dare. When I get them, I'll show a couple, and they'll go, I don't want to get sued, so I'll chicken out.
Yeah, but worst case, they're just going to send you a cease and desist.
You're right. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, John, I think there's some DVDs down here somewhere. We'll see if we can find some old. I'd love to find it somewhere. I have Kevin Rose's first appearance on
Really?
Tech TV.
I think that's actually still on YouTube.
Oh, is that the one where he found
The Dark Tipper.
You had found a hole in a chat capability
Yep.
in an MSN chat of some sort.
Yep. Is that on YouTube still?
I don't know. I'm going to see.
What's sad is Google Video's going away. They're killing Google Video
Why
at the
is
end
that
of the
so
month.
sad?
Well, I mean, there's some stuff on Google Video that's not on YouTube.
Can't they?
See, that's what confuses me.
Maybe
Why
the
not
transition is bad. At one point, I thought that everything that was on Google Video, they somehow magically transcoded it into a YouTube account of
That's what I
sorts.
figured they'd do.
But maybe not.
They need a button that says "Move it over," and they
Yeah,
apparently
move it
they
over
don't.
versus-
They're not doing
versus
it.
just download it.
I want to say Kevin
And it's
Rowe's
May
first
13th,
appearance
I
on the
think,
Screensavers.
is the day.
Are YouTube videos kept forever?
Oh, this is it. It's the last episode of the Attack of the Show
Theoretically, yeah.
that you were on, and they showed a video of you from your first appearance. So, is that it, Kevin? Is that what you're thinking of?
It could have been.
It says goodbye, Kevin Rose. I'll see if we'll play it. We'll massive copyright violations ahead. Stay tuned.
Nice.
Hey, we're all friends.
Hey, is Go to Assist Express, how is that related to Go to My PC?
Same company.
Okay.
Same back end with additional features designed for remote access. So, like 8 sessions at once.
Oh,
so,
all
like you
right.
start and install, you move to the next
So I
one.
put Go to My PC
It's
on
awesome,
my
isn't
mom's
it?
computer, and I manage her
You can
stuff from
basically do the same thing.
Florida, and I'm like,
I'll get you an account. You can do. It's the same thing, except it has
Saves
more
me.
features, like unattended.
she
So
can
if
sit
she's
there and
not
watch
there,
me do stuff.
Yeah,
And it's
my
like
mom
she
loves
learns,
that.
and it's like, oh.
And you can chat while she's doing. But
Dude,
this would let you do it unattended.
Saves me a heart attack.
Oh, it's huge.
So someone named Fee in the chat room, he tweeted out a link to the Ultimate Gaming Machine from 1998.
Yeah, we've shown that. In fact, we did
really?
when I first started.
I don't even know what the specs are. It's
When
gotta be
Colleen
amazing.
was here, we did and we first started TWiT Live, our live streaming video. We in an homage 10 years later, 2008, did the ultimate the 10 years later Ultimate Gaming Machine. Actually, 20 is it 10? 10 years later, Ultimate Gaming Machine, and it was a massive monster machine. But we showed that video too. So yeah, that's kind of fun to see because it was a Pentium 2. It was pretty funky.
I remember I was privileged enough down in our products room. We had I think it was AMD who had the first commercially shipping gigahertz processor.
Wow!
And they sent us a computer reference box with it. And I remember how giddy I was with excitement just to be carrying it. And I was in this little freight elevator. And I had. I'm like, oh my god, there's a gigahertz computer! Holy crap! And now you've probably
I won't buy a phone unless it's got 2 gigahertz
know.
processors. I'm holding out for the Bionic because I want the 2.
I just remember the plasma TVs we had at Tech TV, how they were all like $15,000 to $17,000 for a 42-inch panel.
And by the way, all burnt in badly.
Unbelievably so.
Badly. I guess that's not a problem anymore, but boy,
No.
they were badly.
You can do it
burned.
if you really, really try. But you really have to, pretty much have to go unconscious for about 5 days.
Right. I think they all have like the screensavers. They'll microscopically move the
You
screen.
do a little
and stuff
pixel
like
orbiting
that.
where they slowly move the picture around and among other stuff.
Hey, this portion of This Week in Tech, our 6th anniversary episode, brought to you by one of our newer sponsors, but we sure love them. The great guys, Anthony Castellana and his crew at squarespace.com, squarespace.com/twit. If you'd like to sign up for a free trial. I know they advertise on Revision 3 as well. They're just
indeed.
Great little company. Actually, not little anymore. They got, what did they get, $48 million in
Was it that
venture
much?
capital, something, I can't remember. They're doing all right, thank goodness, because they offer a service that is unique. It's hosting and content management together, and this is the best hosting. Robert, if you were on this, no way they'd be able to bring you down. Can I get you an account
For
heronfidelity.com?
I think it might be time.
Let's move off of that WordPress piece and come to Squarespace. Come to us.
I'll take your code.
Well,
Come
you
to
could
us.
actually take the code that you have for your existing site, but more importantly, I think you can take drop-down menus of all the features that you'd want, pick and choose the ones that you want, and then scale them to the how you want them to look, what you want the functionality to be for the most part. It's pretty neat.
I'm being convinced. Without
Take
a
the
doubt.
tour. I tell you a couple of things about Squarespace that you'll like. First of all, they start with some great templates, but they're very easy to customize so they're unique. You don't want Heron Fidelity to look like everybody else, right?
Not at all.
You've got the beginning of these templates, but then I don't know if you use CSS on your site. If you do, you can paste the CSS in from your site and make it look exactly like your site.
Very cool.
So the design, all the designs, you paid for a nice design. They can be moved over. Drag and drop. So it makes it very easy, like the sliders and everything to
Like
customize.
forum tools. Do they have like a forum?
Yeah, they got a forum.
Nice.
Great forum.
That's one thing
actually.
I'm kind of missing that I should add.
Yeah, well, they, like any
you
good
know, your
website
forums
now,
would
they
blow
realize
up.
interactivity is the key. So they've got form building and data collection. They've got photo galleries, and yes, they have forums.
I do a lot of stuff by email, but it'd be nice to have that in a forum environment.
I agree.
Where everyone can look at it.
You have an iPad or an iPhone?
I have an iPhone.
Yeah,
I bought an iPad for my
They have a
mom.
great iPhone app that lets you not only post but also moderate comments, de-spam, look at stats.
I love doing that.
Yeah, you need to have mobile access to this. It is the stats package is fantastic. I can just go on and on. This is hosting that will never go down on you. This is a great content management system. You can try it free for 2 weeks. Squarespace.com/twit. Click the green button. You don't need a credit card. You just need the site name, Heron Fidelity, the password, and email address. And they don't, by the way, the email's just to let you know that your subscription's about to, your trial's about to run out. And if you forget your password, they won't use it for anything else. And then a little captcha, and you're done. And they will import from your WordPress blog, WordPress, TypePad, Blogger, or Movable Type. So that means everything, comments, links, everything, images, they all come over, so that you're up and running within. I would say if you started, like the minute the show ends by 5:30, you're done. And you've got a site free for 2 weeks, and then just play with it. That way you don't have any. But Robert, you know somebody in the business. If you decide you want a Squarespace blog, I will get you a Squarespace blog at no cost to you.
Wow.
I appreciate
that just happened.
That's not for everybody, folks. You have to pay so that Robert can get it for free. Squarespace.com/twit. No, they do. I think, Kevin, you're on Squarespace.
I am.
They'll give prominent bloggers. It's a good promotional vehicle. They'll give prominent bloggers a page, because when you do the ads, you probably do some ads on HD Nation.
I do.
So you could have gotten this before. I'm not doing anything for you.
Senior Norton has been pressuring me. He's like, we need
Mr. Norton, who never had a web page. We set up so many web pages for Patrick.
I love his Facebook page. It's just a blank picture.
He posts once.
Silhouette.
Really?
He's so funny. He's almost like an aversion.
Yeah, it would be
to
amazing if he came out one time and was like, "I've never used a computer," and we're like, "You're faking it the entire time." We knew it.
He's much more comfortable with a sledgehammer than he is with a computer. That's for sure.
Without a doubt.
This is violating the copyright. Attack of the show. Oh, this is such a bad copy. There's no one can complain. So that's Kevin. Who is that? Is that Sarah? I can't even tell. It's so blurry. I think that's Sarah. And that's you, Kevin, in your last episode.
Have you read Kevin Pereira on TWiT? You should.
No, I don't have anybody in G4 on TWiT. I don't.
Amazing.
He's a nice guy, right?
Yeah, he
seems like a nice guy, but I just don't want to have any G4 people on. You look like you're 12, Kevin.
Yes.
Look how young you look.
Those were the days.
This is right about when we were actually doing maybe episode 10 or 15 of TWiT. You announced you were leaving G4.
Mm-hmm.
They made Sarah be blonde.
That's right. They forced her to dye her
Sarah.
hair.
Jesus. It's a nice set, though. I like the set.
Yeah, that was a weird set. That was I only spent a couple days on that set. And it was just when they.
So this is when they. Was it Attack of the Show or was it?
Yeah,
Screen
it was Attack of
Service?
the Show.
Okay. Here's the first. So they're going to roll the first appearance.
We have found out there's a service running that lets spammers, or could let spammers, bombard you with messages.
You look
now,
the
Kevin
same.
Rose, you all know he's usually
Actually,
over there in the Netcam Cineplex.
I look younger now.
I think you do, actually. You're thinner.
What's happening? What's going on here?
You're in better shape.
I have a secret plan.
And how did you find this hole?
Well, just playing around with a couple friends. We like to.
By the way, that screen behind us, that's the ultimate gaming machine right there.
From the IT department,
Oh, wow.
A friend of mine, and just
Antec case.
started playing around and actually started spamming some machines. Well, the first.
So you don't look nervous at all, Kevin. You're very calm.
I was very nervous.
You
I was
really did a
sweating.
nice job.
I did a shot before I think I went
love
on
that
there.
our graphics
You did a
usually-
shot.
I think so. I was really that was the first time I hosted the screensaver.
Hosting
shot.
is a little more
Our
scary.
graphics usually consisted of drawing pictures on the blackboard.
We did a lot of
We
blackboard.
did a lot of blackboard
I did that on
stuff.
purpose. I really wanted us to be approachable. I wish I had that cutout.
I used to have to draw up those blackboards before
By the way,
segments.
I have
By
Leo's
the way,
almanac.
You guys used to make
the
me draw those
misprinted
blackboards up, by the way. There'd be segments that'd be like, explain how this works. Remember I'd go, Prager, you'd be like, Kevin, you do a really good job. And I'd go and draw the little blackboard diagram.
I loved that. I did that on purpose. We could have had higher quality, fancy screens.
It was a lot.
I
It took
wanted
make
to be-
graphics. I remember I
You didn't
used
put
to
in
be
graphics
obsessed
request?
with these little things. Like I want to show how a laser reads a CD.
Forget it. Next week.
And I'd go
Yeah,
in there
it'd
and
be like
I'd
2
I'd
weeks.
give them a picture and they'd give me a diagram and then I'd tell them like I want to animate it like this. And then
No. Forget it. Whereas
Yeah, I remember that,
the other
dude.
thing is this is very approachable and accessible, and I just didn't want to look too high gloss. I really wanted it to feel.
How are you younger now? Is that oil of Olay?
Yeah.
Stem cells.
Shots.
Stem cells.
Tiger blood.
It's
Shots.
a tiger blood.
Me and Kate.
Tiger blood.
Tiger blood winning. So that was Kevin's first appearance, and Paul Block, who was our executive producer at the time, liked it so much he decided to call you the Dark Tipper. And you would come on and do scary hacker
segments. Yeah.
And from that, you started doing System, which was supposed to be kind of originally hacker.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Hackery.
Yeah, started System. Only did a couple episodes, like 3 or 4 episodes of System. And then Dig was starting to take off at the same time, so I was like, I got to focus on this.
The last one you did, we got that guy who's an expert on asterisk. Showed how to make your own PBX, which was actually kind of fun.
That was
and I learned
hardcore.
a lot about it, but it was really
That's really hardcore.
Yeah.
That's the kind of show I want to keep doing. I love those kind of
those
shows.
are fun, yeah. System was a great brand. And I don't see any I mean, I don't know. I know that there's a bunch of economical things going on, but it'd be great to be able. We've got a lot of like these little DIY life hacker type shows now. We've got 3 of those now. So
System, because it was system.org is the domain that I could only find. I bought it for like $500.
It's
System
got great SEO because it doesn't have the E in it.
Dude, system.com, systm.com became available. I didn't tell you this like a month ago, and I bought it.
Yes.
Nice.
I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but
I know what I can tell you exactly what you're going to do with it, Kevin Rose.
No, I'm not. But where does it go right now? You should at least forward it to system.
Well, I thought System's down.
Okay.
System.org?
So
yeah, but I thought you guys stopped doing the show.
So we're talking. We're going to make a maker space, a hacker space in the new studio. We have a special area of the studio. I'll show you. We're going to go over after the show. I'll show you. I'm telling you, it's Make Magazine's going to be over there. We're going to be Jerry Ellsworth's going to be building stuff. I think maybe a little system.
Nice. Little area, a little nook.
A little system nook.
I'll definitely come out and do some stuff.
Actually, was the Broken first or was it later?
Broken was first.
The Broken was first.
That was my real start because you started plugging the Broken. You mentioned it a couple times on Tech TV, and I got a lot of traffic to that little podcast. People love the Broken back in the day.
I like those videos.
It wasn't podcast. There was no podcasting then.
I think RSS barely existed.
Yeah, it was just.
I remember when Chris Perillo discovered RSS, and his head almost exploded.
He came running into the conference room at Tech TV. This is the same day. It must be. And he couldn't. He was almost literally bouncing off the walls. Like, RSS, it's amazing. It's unbelievable. It was like, calm down, Chris. Yeah. He was nuts.
I think he still is nuts. In a good way.
In a good way. We love Chris. Good. The Broken. By the way, you could still get free pizza, apparently. It still works.
Yeah. Amazing.
Amazing. Some things never end. Asia has run out of IP addresses.
About time.
I don't know what's going to happen with IPv6, but we're getting close to the end.
It has to be coming soon, no?
Yeah. This is the first big, ISP to run out of IPv4.
So you think of all the devices in a home in the next decade that'll have individually addressable devices, and sure, you could NAT all those things.
Why has IPv6 not been implemented faster?
It's ugly. No, it's good, but it's ugly because none of the hardware, none of the routers do it. So you can right now you can get IPv6 from Hurricane Electric. You can get it's basically tunneling through IPv4 to you, and you can have, I think, a Class C. You can have 32,000 addresses for free because there's so many. Go ahead, have as many as you want. Meanwhile, APNIC, Asia Pacific NIC, has released the last block of IPv4 addresses. They're gone. So from this day onwards, according to APNIC Director General Paul Wilson, if you want to build new internet networks and services in Asia Pacific, you have to use IPv6. That'll speed things along.
Well, the limit of IPv4 addresses is
4 million. 4 billion.
Just 4.2 billion.
4 billion.
And with IPv6, it's
more than there are grains of sand in the universe, more than the atoms
I'm
in the galaxy.
surprised that with 4.2 billion, I don't know what the third world has, but I'm surprised it took this long to run out because of the fact that half of every device that gets made now that has ability to connect to the internet has to have a designation.
Right.
A lot of NAT addressing.
NAT addressing, exactly what saved it. In fact, we had Dane Jasper in here in our Triangulation show, which is our interview show. He's a SonicNet founder and runs it. It's a great ISP, independent ISP. He said you may never see IPv6 because what you'll see is natting from ISP level natting to handle this.
Well, for anyone who wants to read more, Wikipedia does great articles for IPv4 and IPv6.
That's just good quality reading right there. late night.
Aren't you glad you don't do the broken anymore? Kevin says no. Mobile. So let's talk about the Flip. Cisco, which bought the Flip, bought Pure Digital, the creators of the Flip, a San Francisco company, 2 years ago for $590 million. This week, shuttered the company and fired 550 people. That's a loss of a lot of money.
I don't have, like, hindsight's always 20/20, but I remember when they bought this. It wasn't that long ago. And
no, we were all saying, what the hell are they thinking?
I didn't know all the variables, but I thought, maybe Cisco's going to go even more consumer. I thought, is Cisco going to make a phone? I thought that because I knew phones have video cameras. I thought, wow, they're a big enough company, you know. When Apple decided we're going to make a phone, people, at first like, really? Apple's going to get in the phone business? And of course, they did. And Cisco's a big enough company, they could have probably designed a pretty amazing phone.
Cisco said they wanted to understand the consumer space. They didn't have any sense of it. They were near a networking company. And so they said, we're going to learn about the consumer space. I guess what they learned is they didn't want to be in the consumer space because they could have spun it out. They could have sold it.
I had a buddy of mine that knows some folks over in like the M&A department of Cisco. And one of the things that he told me is that Cisco, what they like to see is anything out there, any technology that's out there that pushes more bandwidth. They want more and more bandwidth being pushed. They'll invest in that technology. It's like they just want they want people to upgrade their routers. They want big service providers to buy more and more expensive routers.
That's their business.
And that's their business. It reminds me of when HP came to us one time. I don't know if I should say this. I don't want to get in trouble. Well, yeah, I'll say it. HP came to us one time and said that they wanted to put a icon on a website that I was working at the time. I won't say which one. That said, print this article, and they were going to pay us like $1 million
because they knew they'd make big bucks
because they know off the ink cartridges and all that stuff. And I was like, we're not taking that money. Like that's just killing the environment. But they wanted to put this like print this with HP.
But isn't that on every site now? The print this article.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of it on there, but
that just formats the page for a printer.
Well, what would your button have done?
It triggers the actual print process. So it would like bring up that thing to.
So
print
they wanted you to actually
print
it.
to actually go and print more articles.
And you didn't do that?
It's just a horrible thing. One, it makes the site look crappy. Why would you have a big, huge the ad was not like this little tiny print. Like,
it had
icon.
to be big.
It was like a decent size. Like print this. I'm like. Really? Who's printing out these stories?
I admire you, Kevin, because I'm sure that was big bucks.
Now, did Cisco like
medium
summarily is Flip 100% dead? All the people gone? Because there's an article on GigaOM.
Yeah, he suggested they could have sold it, spun it.
Sell it, spin it off, or harvest it for what it's worth. I mean, that's better than just killing it and firing people. I was surprised by the acquisition, and I'm surprised by the way
just shows how
ended.
arrogant a big company can be.
Yeah, but who's going to buy it though? I mean, this is my Flip right here. It's my iPhone. It's my Android device. That's my Flip. Like, who needs another portable camera?
Yeah, but you have like a $700 replacement for a cell phone compared to say like a $200 Flip camera. And judging by Christmas sales alone, I know so many people that bought that camera to give as a gift. Were they losing money on this?
I don't know.
And I could have seen them maybe moving into more create network cameras, add cameras into routers, things like that.
I bet you they did some of the harvesting type of thing. I mean, a lot of the technology.
Like, what do you mean by harvesting?
Well, like you take existing processes of making some of the hardware it's in the Flip into doing.
So they bought it for the IP.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, even
they made $400 million last year. That's a lot of flips.
The brand name is worth at least $5 million.
And as recently as the Super Bowl, they had those great ads where they showed people's Flip videos. I mean, they were spending a lot of money on advertising just a couple of months ago.
It does feel weird.
It does feel strange.
What's the deal with that? Like, why would they buy Super Bowl ads if they knew they were going to kill it a couple of months later?
Well, obviously they didn't know.
Well, no, that's the way a lot of advertising works.
Yeah,
they gave money to an agency.
Ago.
They had all this money committed to the agency. The agency put these ad campaigns, and they didn't pull the money back out of the agency.
Yeah, but they could have changed the ad to like some Cisco router
commercial. That it was going as millions of dollars were being spent on promoting it.
It's kind of sad, isn't it?
That is sad.
Well, I mean, come on. I bought 2 Flips for my kids. I never used it. I mean, they never used it.
Someone says Cisco did have a phone, the iPhone, because remember they owned.
Oh, they did own it. That's right.
Okay, get this. Jesse Jackson Jr., he's a representative, the House of Representatives, Democrat from Illinois. Listen to what he has to say about why the nation is in economic turmoil. This is from C-SPAN.
Of American jobs. Now Borders is closing stores because why do you need to go to Borders anymore? Why do you need to go to Barnes & Noble? Just buy an iPad and download your book. Download your newspaper. download your magazine. Chicago State University in my congressional district, in freshman class, they're not being given textbooks any longer. They're all being given iPads as they enter school. President Wayne Watson hopes to have a textbookless campus within 4 years, where at this state university they no longer have textbooks. Well, what becomes of publishing companies and publishing company jobs? What becomes of bookstores and librarians and all of the jobs associated with paper? Well, in a not too distant future, such jobs simply will not exist. Steve Jobs is doing pretty well. He's created the iPad. Certainly it's made life more efficient for Americans, but the iPad is produced in China. It's not produced here in the United States. So the Chinese get to take advantage of our First Amendment value. That is, to provide freedom of speech through the iPad to the American people. But there is no protection for jobs here in America.
He's way confused.
To ensure that the American people are being put to work.
He says the iPad is killing the American economy.
Well, I mean,
now wait a minute. It gets worse, because 1 month ago, this same guy, Jesse Jackson Jr., and he got a lot of heat for it, said that the federal government should buy an iPad for every student in America because it was the future of America.
Not intended to be a factual statement.
Apparently, he's very confused. He says the problem in America is that the iPad is eliminating thousands of American jobs. Now, he does have a point. I mean, it is being made in China, but come on. It's like saying, you know, oh, the buggy whip makers, they're all out of work now. What are we going to do?
That was the only point that he had was...
What about the students who can have books that cost, say, 1/10 of what the print books cost? That's a scam in and of itself. But
well, I mean, there's a lot of people that are trying to stifle innovation. I mean, there's a couple of examples. One of them, there's two examples. One of them, Kevin can speak to more in a second. But one of them was like, there's a company called Uber that does... basically private car dispatching in San Francisco.
They had all the pedicabs at South by Southwest.
And part of the cease and desist was not only like the way it's legally supposed to work, but the fact that they might be competing with the jobs that are provided to the people that have the medallions to drive the cabs. Now, the example that Kevin's going to give here, if he doesn't know what I'm talking about,
I have no idea.
The example that Kevin's going to give is the people that do Square.
Oh yes,
And
Square.
like that was, and
they were being sued by, was it VeriSign?
Yeah. And so
Verifone, right?
Verifone.
And what they wanted to do is saying that instead of like, you know, Square, who made this great technology where you can interface with an iPad and an iPhone and you can scan the credit card across the top, they're saying that that's going to propagate fraud. To try and basically what they're doing is they're trying to protect their business, number one, and two, they're trying to take away they're trying to take away the threat that this company provided to what their core business was, which is like
Verifone demanded that Square recall their credit card readers.
Yeah. Well, the sad thing is that you can buy a credit card reader for like $30 off the internet. And any blank credit card reader, I can put any sticker I want on the outside and go walk up to someone and say, "Hey, I'm going to sell these flowers to you. Let me swipe your card," and then I have their credit card.
Right.
Or I'm a waiter and I can take it in the back room and take a picture of the front and the back, and I have the credit card.
Well, what's also interesting is
so your point is that this is an example of people who are entrenched businesses currently terrified by the changes that are happening.
Well, I mean, in another way you can put it is that if you're worried that like if we're falling behind to other countries who are in the technology sector who are innovating on things, if we stop the ability of a Steve Jobs to take his team at Apple on creating something like an iPhone, on Jeff Bezos on creating the Kindle, you're going to fall that much further behind to other companies and other countries that are allowed to do those things.
Well, the thing is, if there was an option, it's too bad that those things aren't manufactured in the United States.
That's the bigger one, isn't
it?
No, it would cost a lot more, though.
I know,
Kevin.
but if there was an option to pay an extra $10 for my iPad,
Wouldn't you do that?
Manufactured in the U.S. of A., I would do it in a heartbeat.
Let's do that.
Well, there's another
I agree with you 100%.
We're talking about Paul Allen being on 60 Minutes. There was a story a couple of weeks ago that's talking about the business taxes in the United States and the reason that you've got all these Fortune 500 companies, Facebook included, that are putting significant presences in other countries, a specific couple of countries, because they will not get taxed at the rate that the U.S. corporations will get taxed. And so it makes sense for them to go over there because they can legally go.
Oh, you're
over
talking
there and
about
do
the
that.
Irish sandwich and the
Google.
Yeah. But I mean,
yeah,
you know,
Google paid.
If
yeah,
TWiT was making, you know, more than a couple $1 billion.
Well, I actually would like to announce the opening of our Irish branch, and we're going to license all podcasts to them.
But imagine if your revenue was $1 billion, and you could save $100 million of it by just opening up a little office in Ireland somewhere. You'd do it.
It's more complicated.
And I know, but you know, no one would blame you for doing it either.
Well, I kind of blame Google for doing it. I mean, it's legal.
Well, think if you're a publicly traded company, and you've got shareholders.
You have to, don't you? The shareholders say you have to. So if you could pay, would it be $10 though? It'd be more like.
That's what I would want to know.
It'd be like $1,000 more. 50. How much more would it be?
Out of zero.
I don't know. It's
How much does the labor go
like
into
to know.
it?
But what kind of? The problem is that we don't have the technology, right? We don't have the fabrication plants like they do out there. Like I don't.
Really? I think it's the labor.
I don't think so.
Is
it?
It's assembly.
Strictly the labor?
Toronto
Like
is
I know we
saying
make chips.
production in China saves about 20%. I think that sounds about right. So add 20%. I'd be willing to pay 20% more. You should just make two versions.
Right, absolutely.
You said here's the red, white, and blue version. It's 20% more, but you're supporting American jobs and American industry. I would do that.
I think a lot of people would actually.
I think it'd be a good move for a lot.
I like it. Google's doing all right, by the way. Their quarterly earnings call was on Friday.
Their stock took a dump the other day.
The stock.
You know why? Oh, get this. This is the stock market's crazy. So Google made $8.58 billion in 3 months, almost $3 billion a month. Profit $2.3 billion in 3 months. It was lower than the analysts expected.
Right.
So it dumped the stock. I don't know. I think I think a company that's making $2.3 billion every 3 months seems like a good company.
It's scary though. A lot of people.
It's scary.
A lot of people. Google's.
Are you scared by Google?
I'm not.
You're an internet, king. You're a savvy internet guy. You know how this stuff works.
You had some gut feelings that you expressed about the CEO departing, Schmidt departing.
The
What you
Schmidt
thought
thing
the
was
overall
weird.
feel of
It just
CEO
felt weird to see. Like there was pictures of them like hugging the day after, and it's just like
you've been through a CEO transition. This is no way this was amicable.
There's something going on behind the scenes here. Like,
and let me look what else happened. So Larry comes in last week. He names kind of a gang of 6 that are running Google. Marissa Meyer's not on that list.
I know. That was interesting.
She supposedly got promoted to cover local by Eric. Larry gets in there. She's got no, she's still there, but she's not in the top 6.
That one.
Yeah, that's the picture.
It's on.
That was like the day after. Like the two guys that are staying there in the
in
car.
their Prius.
And like,
and they're saying, "Bye, Eric.
Yeah,
See ya.
Eric's standing on the outside, like, let me in.
Have a nice
Unlock the
life.
doors, guys.
Good
Unlock
luck.
the doors.
I have to think that Larry decided he wanted to run the place, right? He said, and I think that as much as
And they've
Eric
had a few misses. They've had a few. They've done a few things like Google Wave and a few other products that have come out where people have looked at it and said, this isn't the best.
Yeah.
They have cars that drive.
It happens.
If they can get that car that drives
give me that car that
they said 10
self-drives.
more years. When that happens, that's a life changer.
They could do it now. What are you talking about? It works really well. They've driven hundreds of thousands of miles.
They have 1 million miles, I believe, so far on their test vehicles.
And no accidents.
Not one.
No, they had one accident where it got rear-ended.
Wasn't their fault.
I know, but that's awesome. There's one accident. Yeah, we got rear-ended.
Some idiot human was driving.
System. So you figure in 20 years, that'll be pretty commonplace. 10 years, it'll be the first adopters.
No, because the problem is not technology. The problem
laws,
is
right?
human. Humans do not want robots driving their car.
I do.
I do.
You are not human.
I don't want windows anymore. I just want to climb inside of a vehicle.
I just want to be able to
couches.
get in and have a good old time in there. You can
take a nap.
Yeah, take a nap. You can hang out with your girlfriend.
Take me to
whatever
this
you want.
address.
You can hang out
Take
with
the
your
long
girlfriend.
You know what I'm saying?
You want to join the 30,000 mile club.
Text away while you're doing it.
I
see
think
so
I
many
talked to an expert in this subject. He said, we're there. We can do it.
Oh, yeah.
We need to get the roads in and, different stuff. But it really is mostly human,
just hesitation.
They just
Fix
don't.
the traffic too. I
They don't
bet.
trust.
They don't trust our-
the drunk
He had an
driving.
interesting vision. For instance, you don't need to ever own a car. I need to go home. Boop, 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 on my iPhone, I go Uber.
Pulls up.
I say, Uber, I'm going to need a car to get home. He says you don't drive an RV anywhere. You drive your car, and you have the RV meet you there.
Okay,
See, if these cars are autonomous, it's not just us in them.
Yeah, but that's weird.
It's them arriving at the spot that you need them.
In a weird way, I'm almost against that now. That seems so strange to see these cars driving around by themselves. Like, how weird is that? Like, with nobody in the car?
But, I mean, okay, so you're there with your girlfriend, and you're not paying much attention. It's the same thing.
But at least I'm a human in the car. I don't like
yeah, good. So you'll know when
you... San Francisco drivers, this is a good thing. We need this.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We need more robotic vehicles.
But think about the jobs for all the people driving the cars.
That's a good point.
What about the buggy whip manufacturers?
You don't need the buggy whip anymore.
So, it's been really, I'm so glad to get you guys back in here for our 6th anniversary episode. It just really warms the cockles of my heart to call you guys my friends. And I think everybody who's watching the show feels the same way. Robert Heron, it's so nice to see you again.
Always a pleasure.
HeronMedia.com.
Yes, Heron Fidelity.
I'm sorry, Heron Fidelity. Why do I never, I can never get it right. It's because Roger Chang named you.
My brother.
You guys missed the most fun gossip story of the week.
What's the best gossip story of the week?
Mark Zuckerberg and his ownership of Facebook.
Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah, you know what? This is a good story. I couldn't miss this. So this guy, Celia is his name? Ceglia. He initially, I mean, look, this guy has been is a convicted felon for fraud. So, you know, you throw the whole thing out. He says, I own half of Facebook because...
Wood chip fraud. Wood chips.
Wood pellets. He had a pellet store.
Yeah. That's not the worst fraud.
Wood pellet company.
It's just wood pellet fraud.
I think he basically sold...
It doesn't seem like that big a deal.
Ship them.
All right, but let's put it this way. I mean, you guys convicted of fraud. Okay. And now he comes forward and says, well, when this Zuckerberg kid was a sophomore at Harvard, he wrote a thing for me called, Scan Some Facts Stuff?
Oh, it was called Street Facts.
Street Facts. I paid him $1,000. I had the canceled check. And then he said, I have this other thing called the Facebook. Would you be interested in investing? He said, I'll give you half, says Zuckerberg. And the guy gave him $1,000.
That he cashed, supposedly.
That he cashed. They've got the cash check. And they've got a bunch of damning emails. Eventually, Zuckerberg says, oh, the Facebook thing's not going so well. Can I buy you out? Because I'm sorry I used your money, and it's just a flop. Of course,
did he offer to buy him out, or he just said it's not going to?
He did. He offered to give him his money back.
This is the emails, the alleged emails.
The alleged emails, yeah.
Exactly.
Alleged. Now, of course, emails can be forged.
There's a lot of emails there, though. That was the only. I'm really.
It's all alleged, but
how well do you know Business Insider, the publication?
They're good.
A big long article, and they interviewed the firm that this guy hired.
It's a white shoe law firm. It's a big law firm.
Why would this guy wait 7 years, though? That doesn't make sense.
His reason for waiting 7 years, which is both good and stupid, and maybe not true, is that as soon as he was getting sued for this wood pellet thing, he went through to dig up a bunch of documents to help figure out what was going on with the wood chip lawsuit, and then dug up, oh yeah, this guy Mark gave me 50% of that company of his.
It's totally possible. What it kind of underlines, Mark, it kind of, better than I do, but it kind of underlines the fact that Mark, all along, every time these things come up, it seems like he was just a little, he was a young guy, it was a long time ago, but he was a little bit, had kind of a loose ethical compass,
I think when you're that age, though, I mean, I don't know about you, but I did a lot of really stupid shit when I was like in my early 20s.
And I would not blame him for that. I agree with you 100%.
And I look at that, and I'm like, it just sounds like someone that was in their early 20s doing something. Or he wasn't even in his 20s. He was in his
He was 19 or 18. He was just a kid.
Yeah, I did a bunch of dumb stuff when I was that age.
You still do dumb stuff. I know.
Now he's talking about
go around with your girlfriend in the backseat of a moving vehicle.
It's automatic. It drives itself.
Better than most people.
So the thing is, there's a lot of this evidence. He's got this new big law firm. Presumably, the Zuckerberg hard drives have already been confiscated. Remember, because of the Winklevi lawsuit. So
yeah, but hard drives from back then, he doesn't have the same computer. Like, what hard drives?
But I mean, they had them. In other words, they were already subpoenaed. I don't know. Apparently.
I don't have my hard drives from like 5.
We should say
the email servers is if they can find this on like a Hotmail machine or a Yahoo Mail or something, and the email's actually on there and they can verify it, that's when you're kind of screwed.
The weird thing about this article also regarding the emails, if somehow they can validate an email, and in the email the alleged email, it says that he
Facebook, or there's an
stalling
attachment.
these upperclassmen. That lends more credibility
to the Winklevoss,
who I think are jackasses from in the first place, just because once they got their settlement and they say they're not being greedy. I think that's just wrong.
They got thrown out of court. The judge last week said, "Guys, you got enough." They got enough percentage of Facebook that the settlement's now worth about $160 million for their idea. And the judge said, you know, if you want to, the judge threw it out. However, they could appeal to the Supreme Court, which would be interesting. I don't know. I don't know what to think.
Why, when you have $160 million,
just say thank you.
Just go chill with a margarita and just like have a good old time. Like, what are you doing?
Now, here's the thing that somebody told me. Here's the thing that somebody told me that
add another zero to that.
Somebody said that there was evidence that their code was in the original Facebook. Now, how do you feel? What if he took some of their code?
I still got $160 million. I'm chilling on the beach. I don't even use the internet anymore at that point.
So I don't know.
People like, you have an email address? No.
You figure that they'll throw some money at this guy.
You're living that on interest.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't even worry about it.
I don't know. You gotta give credit to.
But that's only one like
but
165
the best part is this guy's like, you know, that Mark Zuckerberg's a damn good coder. For some reason, if I end up in charge of Facebook, I'd hire him to work for the company because he's a good coder.
He said that?
Yeah, in the article.
That's chutzpah. I'd hire him.
Yeah. If at some point in the future I start running Facebook, I guess I'm going to have to hire him to keep running the company. I really don't have much interest in it. He doesn't have much interest in Facebook. He just, you know.
It's a very interesting story. I don't know what to make of it, but you're right. It's the best gossip of the week.
There's going to be a sequel to the movie.
Yep. Social Network 2, folks.
That'd be awesome.
The implosion. I just hope Facebook doesn't go the way of MySpace or something.
At this point, I think it's over.
You're a happy Facebook user, right, Leo?
I am, actually. I gave up.
It tells me when everyone's birthday is. That's the most important.
Yeah, totally.
You can't
a huge feature I use.
You can't not be on Facebook. That's just the fact of it. Robert Heron is, I'm going to try this again. Heron Media. No. HeronFidelity.com.
Oh, I love you.
No, I figured if we bring HeronMedia.com down,
you know, now,
then we won't bring your site down.
I've locked it down and I upgraded WordPress, but that might not be enough. It's still up.
I'm telling you, Squarespace.
You know what? That's where it's going.
Heron Fidelity. Okay, everybody, just show Robert the error of his ways.
Yep.
Everybody go to HeronFidelity.com
Let's do it right now.
Yep. And your site will be up and down for the rest of the week.
Let's see if he can. Oh, it's down. It's down right now.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, now it's back up. And
service temporarily unavailable. All right,
sorry.
We're going to Squarespace. Squarespace it is.
And Robert, if you get a big bill from your hosting company, please send it along to me.
I should be okay. I'm just disappointed.
We'll take care of that.
My free caching algorithm failed me. That's it. I'm going to Squarespace.
Just great to see you again, Robert Heron. Thank you for coming in here. And, of course, HD Nation on Techzilla.
Yeah.
With Mr. Patrick Norton.
We're doing it up.
David L. Prager. What's the L stand for?
Lawrence. Yep.
Larry Prager.
Indeed.
David Larry Prager. He's at DL Prager on the Twitter. He is at revision3.com. Any new shows? It sounds like there's Life After style shows. That's neat.
Yeah, it's great.
Like how to do stuff and...
Yeah, we got a couple. I keep thinking we have a show called Scientific Tuesday, which is just making, smoke bombs. But that's, those are projects as well.
And Pragerpedia is PragerPedia.net.
Which I do not own, but
David
I'm very flattered.
Doesn't have nothing to do with it. But if you just ask.
Those teeth, amazing. What kind of toothpaste do you use? They're white.
I use the flashlight.
Straight bleach.
What should I ask it? What should I ask it? Did Mark Zuckerberg cheat Paul Celia? Question mark.
If someone's already asked that, I'll be surprised.
So then what happens if it's a question nobody's asked?
It'll ask you to help provide an answer.
How do I get, is there a return button?
I don't know. It should be a submit
broken.
Somewhere.
Broken.
Uh-oh.
What is up? What is up? I don't see a button. Am I missing something?
That's the website's down. I can't get to it.
We broke Pragerpedia. Christ, I can't go anywhere on the internet.
The army is strong.
The army is strong in this one. Mr. Kevin Rose, also great to see you.
Yes.
MilkInc.com. That won't go down. And
Yes, please sign up for the newsletter. I will be sending out updates as we announce products at milkinc.com.
very cool. Really thrilled to hear. And iOS first, you think, huh?
iOS first.
Yeah.
We got, of the apps and things we want to build, we have 2 iOS things we want to build and a couple web apps.
Cool. I don't think I have anything to plug. I think I'm done. I just want to thank everybody for being here for the first 6 years. I can't wait to see what the next 6 years holds. We're going to go over to the new studio and take a little
You
tour.
plug your venture capital raise for the
Round by
finishing off
round,
the
5%
studio.
for
Probably do
anybody
angel,
writing
it'd be
me.
fine.
Does that establish the valuation of the company?
Kevin will
Not
invest,
yet.
I think.
You can do a convertible note so you don't have to establish that
Right,
right
Kevin?
now.
You throw some bucks.
I'll throw a few bucks in.
Angel investor? No, I'd feel guilty taking your money. I couldn't do that.
Okay, fine. He'll just be.
If you want to buy a brick, you can buy a brick.
You'll sell like the Huffington Post. As long as you sell like the Huffington Post in a few years.
I think we will. What did they get? 130? We're going to be worth half a
350.
billion. 350?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not going to happen. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll see you next week. Another TWiT is in the can.
Hello, everybody. We're here with Kevin and David and Robert Heron and Graham and our old friend Gary, who's been a great help. We're going to give them a look at the new studio. Actually, I think this is the first time we've done a tour of the new studio since before we did the demolition. So this is the building. This is an old furniture factory, turn of the century furniture factory that was a drugstore when I first moved to Petaluma. And then Bias, remember them, Bias Sound? They moved in here 5 years ago. It's been vacant for a couple of years. Eventually we're going to replace the Bias logo, but we want to be a little bit stealthy right now. All of this stuff we're going to take off, so we're just going to look in. Yeah, they're on construction, but they're actually really good. Although a friend of mine, developer, said, "Oh, you got Creighton's, the most expensive company in town." I said, "Yeah." So this will be the front entrance. This will probably be buzzard with a phone. You guys go on in.
Was this glass already here, right?
No, I put this all in.
That's awesome.
So this is going to be a reception desk. There's a TWiT logo will be there. It's going to be a glowing TWiT logo with a gear around it. We kind of want to echo the gears that are, we're kind of the screensavers thing with the gears. So this is going to be a locked door, and the big glass door locked there. It'll be sealed in, and then you'll be buzzed in here. Receptionist recognizes you, buzzes you into the studio. I'll show you Alex's stuff first because it's over here. This is our conference room. This is where the bricks, if we sell bricks, the brick wall will be here and it'll go around and around here. We get about 400 bricks right here. We're thinking for a fundraiser.
Oh, that's a cool way to do it. You
Yeah.
can break brick or something like
Right,
that.
yeah, and get your name on a brick and it goes all the way around here and around here. So this side is Alex's area. He's taking about a third of the space.
I didn't even realize you moved up here.
Yeah, he lives up here.
No, he lives here.
Oh, look, sorry. Yeah. We just talked about So there's the green screen. I guess the lights are out, but and then he's gonna put a mocap set here, like 30 camera motion capture. Yeah. So that'll be handy because we'll have access to it.
So he just removes and Bob.
Yeah, and he's going to use this as his control room. We'll put editors will go. This is one of our editors. Edit slash. So we put in desks for the editors. Stuff like that.
That's awesome.
This the painting is done, so this is the color for this.
Sweet.
Yeah, we're getting there. We got to refinish the floor. This is the kitchen. And they built, so they're going to duplicate my, this is the replacement for the stuff behind me. They built this all to look the same, but it's got lighting, it's got more lighting areas and stuff. So this will all be going in my office. There's a maker space. It's going to go back in there. There's a roll up. There's an alley behind here. There's a roll up there, and you can get into the roll. I can show you that. Let's show you that.
So that's like the shop.
Yeah, it'll be a shop, but it'll be a studio too. Yeah, I'll show you that. So we were thinking either here, but I think this is really we were thinking this is absurd, but I think this should be a studio and a makerspace. And I think almost a public makerspace that people could come in and have projects, and then we show it. Just because it was a drugstore, that conveyor belt goes down to the basement.
Is this similar to like what Squid Labs would be doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you gotta leave that.
Got to do something with it. We've already written it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I didn't write it, but somebody already wrote it. Much to our insurance company, she ran on insurance. Yeah, very cool. How many square feet is it? About 9,400 up here, and there's 6,500 downstairs. Wow. Full basement. It's not code, so we can't put anybody down here, but it's great. Huh. That's awesome. So the set begins from here over. So what Roger, this is this will be kind of translucent. So when you'll see people walking by, kind of as shapes and shadows walking by, editors will be in here. This is our drop pan. Editors are also in here, but we also want editors to be here too, facing kind of this way. So you'll see when we get shots this way, you'll see people working. There'll be desks along here. This is where my office is going to go in there. So that's going to be. That door is going to be glass. It's just temporary. So it'll be glass all the way around. So where we were fits in there. And all the
film in your office?
Yeah, I'll do the tech guy. I'll do all the one-man shows in there. So that'll be my office. Lisa's office, our CEO's office, is here. She's also glassed in. So partly so we can see her as much as so she can see us, because we want to have stuff going on. This is going to be the newsroom set. This is where Tom and the TNT show will be on this set. Here, so we're going to have desks and newsroom. There'll be a one-man set kind of there. The control room is actually around this pillar. We're building a desk that rotates so that cameras are everywhere and lights are everywhere, but the director can rotate around depending on what show they're shooting.
Oh, that's awesome.
TWiT will be here. This is a round table. This will be a round table set. There's things you can drop down and change the background, or we'll light it in the office. One reason we want to have glass. And then this is a living room kind of set here for some of the shows where it was down. These are the portholes I was talking about. They'll have the screens to look at.
You could almost do like the Today Show crowd in that.
Absolutely. This will all be clear, so you'll be able to see in. People walking by and watch it. And then curtains here if we want to draw them or open them. And then this is going to be a brick. We're putting a brick facade up there with some cross beams. Roger had in his design. We'll do it eventually, but I mean not right away. These arches to echo the screensaver arches. There were 3 arches.
I remember that.
And one of them comes out here. So there'll be this desk here that can rotate. TriCaster beyond the mixing board, but all the gear is down below because we can drill holes in this board.
Are you going to
just drop wires down?
Or are you going to keep it as it? I mean, levitate meaning you have.
We don't need to because I'll show you. Okay. Because in the basement, there's room for all the gear, so everything will be racked below where it's quiet and cool, and just wires and control systems. We even have a makeup room. We couldn't figure out what to do with this little room here.
Did you lease this place? Did you buy it?
Yeah, 75 cents a square foot. What? I know. Yes.
Wow.
It was vacant.
And a true wire.
It was wired by this startup. I'll show you. We have a server. So they put all this money. They built all these red things. All of this was built. We actually took out offices to make this square. We took out 2 offices. And they had cubicles going there. We took out a lot of stuff to make the space for the studio.
Wow. What are you on for this? Can you have any miles since you put down here?
If we weren't on camera, I might say something like, well, we'll probably quit people like Chad now. He's not a person. But so what we're going to do is we're going to put a fence, all the gear, we're right below, this is where the TriCaster is above. So all the gear, there's a rack here with all the TriCasters and stuff are down here, and then wires just come down into there.
You have to invite Ryan Vance down here.
Yeah, he'd love it.
Because he wouldn't fit.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he wouldn't fit.
Oh, I know. Jason Howell. Yeah. So you can see all this wire was pulled by bias.
Yeah.
So we're in great shape in terms of wire. I don't know if it sucks. We don't understand. Actually, there's a little mystery here. This is not quite Alex Bone's fault, but who is Dennis? And what did he do to irritate the previous owners? That's my question. So I want to put a gym down here. I have all sorts of ideas and stuff that we do down here. We'll certainly have, lots of storage. Engineering can be down here. There's a lot of stuff. And I'll show you after. So that's that conveyor. And this was where the drugstore is stored all the time.
So storage is not a problem.
Storage is not a problem. We could put a lot of stuff here.
Is there an elevator in this building?
No, but there's that conveyor belt if you're really lazy.
You get a conveyor belt done later.
So all the wiring truncates in here. So, careful, you're right.
What was that, pole or the?
No, it's just that. So, 35 megabits symmetric right now already in there.
Nice.
16 channels.
Because we're about a block from the central office.
Oh, sweet.
We're going to get 2 of those.
Sonic?
Yeah, it's from Sonic. 35 megabits.
That's awesome.
You pay for 20, and anything you get above 20, they is free. So because we're so
Symmetrical
close,
now? That's
symmetrical,
awesome.
up and down. But that'll be for streaming, for video, so we can do the Skype calls and all that stuff. And then we'll have a separate LAN for the office. And we've got a really good.
Are you
IT
doing your own
guy.
hosting as well, or are you taking
No.
CDNs take care of all
Yeah.
that?
We have a really good IT guy we're contracting with who's doing these, who's going to do virtual VLANs all around to support QoS and stuff. So he did a nice job. It's good to have space. What space we got? We were planning, but I can't. This is on hold. I was going to put a shower.
Oh, yeah.
Audio's a little funky.
Down here. There's plumbing. So I could have a little gym in here and stuff, and give employees a chance to work there. So apparently the previous tenants would roll this door back. This is a big door onto the alley. This is how they come in. This is their front door. Huh. They roll it back. Well, you ever have big parties that you need to decide? Absolutely. Absolutely. Limousines can pull up. Yep. And this roll up goes down, roll over to the ledge. But if you have, if you want to bring in something demo or if you want a laser cutter or whatever, roll it. Awesome. We've outgrown the place, man. Alex will tell you, we're all chanting.
Oh.
Like this in there. We got 6 or 7 people around that table, and it's just really crazy. So we're actually in a big hurry to get in here. So I think what we'll do is finish the painting and the carpeting, things like that, and maybe do the brick wall, and then get in here with whatever we can. At least have 2 sets up so we can get people out of the cottage and into a more comfortable space, and then slowly finish it. Because there's a lot more to do. There's like water else, it's a ton of shit to do. All right, I hope you enjoyed the tour. That's the current state of what I call the brick TWiT house. And for a mere, I don't know what we have to say, $100? $100 you can have a brick on the wall there with your name or your Twitter handle or whatever. This is the premium space up here. This is not such a good space. Yeah. Maybe I'll charge you a little extra.
You're going to get bricks embedded with those little USB thumb drives. Have you seen that?
Yeah, that's cool. I know the guy who did that. It was a really great art project.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that cool? Yeah. Yeah. We could do that. We get a little USB.
Oh, yeah,
you come and plug in. Get whatever there. Well, thanks for coming over. I appreciate it.
Thanks for sharing.
Great to see you. We're getting there. You've been through this before, Kevin, I know.